Hi, Marzia. How are you?
Olá, Carolina. Podemos falar português, por enquanto somos
Ah,
nós.
que bom.
Como está?
É, eu tô bem, e você?
Sim, tá tudo, sim. Tô... Obrigada pelo workshop da outra vez. Foi muito fixe descobrir
Ah,
algumas.
mas...
Carolina, I don't know if the members that are here went to her workshop last week. It was very interesting about AI and creating forms and integrating nature and this beautiful imagery that we can do just with AI. So we were speaking about the formats of the workshop. So there will be
Yeah,
moments in which we are going to create and to choose images online. I have few links. So it's not about AI. This is more
yeah.
about giving you ideas and input and sharing with you knowledge that I have about the elements and astrology. So just to have new topics to to study and to discover. So it's more like sharing of ideas and yeah, input to create. So
Oh, so nice.
yeah, I really like the topic. Just to give a topic and okay, let's create something about it. It's really sometimes it helps. We need to have some direction to create art. So this as Ina Dao is a lot about nature and also this Sister of Earth project, and it's about connecting us as female as receptive beings to nature. So I think it's good to be to know what we are doing and to set an intention when we create something. Like I want to create something to celebrate the water element or just to mix water and fire and see what happens. So this workshop is going to be about playing with the elements and try to understand how they work. I think we can start like with a small presentation. So me and Carolina, we were already chatting, and but I think we can introduce ourselves. So as I'm the speaker, the main speaker, let's say today, I will introduce myself shortly. So I'm Marzia. I'm Italian, but I'm based in Portugal, so that's why I speak a bit of Portuguese. And I'm a digital artist with a background in the video editing, and I create images. I like to take pictures with my scanner and to then create these geometric shapes with the natural objects like stones, flowers. So I use nature in my art and like this kind of mandalas to represent uh, my vision. I would like to invite you to to share who you are. So is there anyone that wants to start?
Hi, my name is Andrea,
Hello,
and
Andrea.
I know Marzia since some years. I also live in Lisbon. I'm also Italian by chance. And we connected because Marzia is very also knowledgeable about astrology, and I'm interested about human design. And so we met by doing this exchange of astrology, human design. And I love very much what Marzia is doing with her work. And so I just, yeah, I want to support as much as I can. And also, I thought it could be fun to be here to discover the behind the scene and, yeah, mostly to support and see what's happening here is a way to stay in contact, let's say. I'm not an artist. I do sometimes, let's say, some art, but mostly with movement, acting, and not really imagery. And I organize events around Web3, so somehow related, but not much. Okay, thank you for hosting this, Marzia.
Thanks to you for coming, Andrea. It's really a pleasure to see you here. So Okay, then we have, okay, I know that Pimi cannot join cannot speak, actually. Carolina, would you like to introduce yourself shortly? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carolina. I am from Brazil. I work with inside near a couple of years now, and now I am focused on EA, and I make projects, Web3 projects about for creators and for brands too. So today, that's what I am doing the most.
Okay, that's I know already your work a bit. I invite the other participants to also to check it. It's actually really amazing what she can do with AI. And okay, so let's start the workshop. It's more like sharing knowledge for me than giving a lot of information. So if you have any input, just write chat here and or just start to speak. So I can tell you that I enter in this world of the astrology and knowing more about the elements because I was actually fascinated a lot by images that I find around in old books or really full of symbology. I'm going to share now my screen to show you some of the images. They are full of meaning. So I was like looking at them and say, wow, that must be really powerful or really knowledgeable, but I couldn't understand what they meant. I started to study, and little by little I found out that everything is based, all this knowledge, all these images that we can see are based on the elements of matter. Why? Because astrology is actually a discipline that is based on this terrestrial plane. So everything is made by 4 elements. Aristotle and Ptolemy consider that our plane, our world, is built on the 4 elements, the 4 elements of matter. They are in all living things in this planet. So according to the movement of the stars, then what happened on Earth also it can be modified. The roots of astrology are in the meaning of the 4 elements. So once we understand how they work, we have access to understanding how astrology works, all things also in this reality. So today we're kind of doing an exercise of our point of view, our vision, and I'm sharing with you like this knowledge basically. So the 4 elements are, as we see in this image, like earth, water, air, and fire. We have here the element symbolism, alchemy symbols, and in the middle of the elements, there is actually the ether. We are not going to discover too much about the ether today, which is the empty space. We are more focused on the 4 elements of matter. To understand how these elements work, we need, first of all, to get to 2 principles: the principle of polarity and the principle of gender. So there are always 2 opposites in this realm, like hot and cold, black and white, like night and day. Everything that is positive, like, has a negative side. Actually, these are dualities. They cannot exist without each other. It's also important to know that 2 opposite things, they have like something in between. There is like hot and cold, for example, but there is the warm in between. black and white, there are different shades. There are grays and other tonalities. So it's important to understand that polarities live and in contrast with each other, but are also part of the same thing. They cannot exist without each other. We are gonna consider the principle of polarity and of gender. The important thing of the gender is that we see everything in this planet, in this realm, it's masculine or feminine. This concept is very well explained in a book, which is called Kybalion. This is a book that speaks about the principles of this reality. Okay, it's a very ancient book. It speaks about 7 hermetic principles, probably you heard something about. And one of those is the principle of gender, that I think is very important to get the concept of masculine and feminine. So masculine is a kind of energy that expands. It's something that generates, something that creates, procreates. And then a feminine energy is something that receives. It's frequently associated with a cold because it's something receptive. And the masculine energy is associated with the hot feeling. So here we have the two polarities and the two concept of masculine and feminine. The important thing of putting together masculine and feminine is that they generate. Actually, the word gender comes from Latin. Gender means to create. So if you have a masculine and feminine, together they create. In all things, it doesn't have to be like a person or an animal. In all things, if you put something that has masculine gender and feminine gender together, they create. So for masculine, we intend something that is dominant, that has power, that has confidence. As you see here in the list, I put some example of masculine that has light, bright colors. Is something that goes outside, that you notice, that is visible, something that gives, that is dominant. And the feminine is a kind of energy I was mentioning before, is receptive, is nurturing, it has compassion, contraction. It's like something with the dark colors. It's a centripetal force, something that receives. So we have something that gives and something that receives, and together they create motion. So this is an important concept to understand how the elements work, because there are elements that are masculine and elements that are feminine. So they work with these two polarities, and they create when we mix them together. Masculine energy means to be assertive, progressive, directing energy towards the feminine energy. So on the other hand, the feminine energy is seen as receptive, and it's essential to life. So if we put those together, we have creation. I think we can download an image or just create an image online and see if we understood the meaning of these two energies. So just to repeat, masculine expands, it's bright, it's really present, and it imposes itself, and it might be something with a straight lines because they go really forward. It's like they are really they have a straight intention. And the feminine energy is something like more curvy, more receptive, more introspective. So it's like a movement that's more soft, let's say. Probably you know it already. Free stock images, and through this website you can choose some images that for you express the feminine energy and the masculine energy. Masculine energy is something that expands, so it could be like really bright light that expands, like Okay, now I'm speaking about the sun, but it could be like a comet, or really something like a light, like a lamp that we have at home. So try to find an object or something in nature that is that resembles like masculine or feminine energy. Feminine energy, it's something receptive. So it could be like a vase. Okay, a vase receives things, and a lamp, for example, expands light. So lamp works like in a masculine energy, and this a vase, like it's like feminine energy. Once we have this concept, we can apply it to the elements, but it's important to understand how these two kind of energy work. Okay, this is, for example, feminine energy. We can define it this way. So we have water, we have a vase, and it's something that is collecting. So it's a person that is receiving something. Then light bulb, it could be, it's masculine energy. It's expands like this. It gives light. So these are some example of masculine and feminine energies. Do you have an idea? Would you like to share an image that you think is connected to like feminine or masculine feeling? Like this one, for example, I found, okay, this is something masculine because it's very bright. Between the two extreme poles, there are various degrees or gradations. So how the four elements work, okay, how these energies work together. So the elements are the building blocks of the universe, so they have some specific qualities. They represent the dynamics and the behaviors between the substances. So we have the hot quality, for example, and the cold quality. So they are two opposite. They belong to two different genders, meaning gender is like the way they act, okay? So those combination of qualities define the four elements, okay? And they also define the essence of the astrological components, like the zodiac signs and the planets. So for example, here we have hot and cold. They are considered active qualities, okay? Because they dictate the idea of energy, how they move, how these elements move. And the hot represent things that irradiate, like energetic, centrifugal forces, light, subtle things, luminous. It is masculine because it's expansive and it's dynamic. Then we have the cold, okay, represents things that are static, they absorb, as I mentioned before. They are centripetal forces. So feminine, it's like static and represents receptivity and contemplation. There is always the necessity of a balance. We need a balance between masculine and feminine. I mean, if masculine energy acts by itself and doesn't have a feminine opposite to equilibrate, we will have chaos because we will have like action, too much movement. Feminine energy, if acts by itself, okay, if there is not a masculine energy that equilibrates, we will have like staticity, no action, no movement, and laziness or too much stability. Hello, we have a new member. Hi, Fran.
Hello.
if you want to introduce yourself to the other members, I don't know, shortly, like in 1 minute. Yeah.
I'm Fran. I'm from Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little lost with the Zoom meeting, and I work with watercolor, and I studied astrology. How did you say astrology?
Astrology, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, for 5-6 years, because
Mm-hmm.
I made draws with all of the stuffs. It's not new for me, but I want to see through your eyes, your vision.
Okay, thank you. Just resuming, Fran, so you have an idea. I was introducing the 4 elements according to Aristotle Ptolemy, because the 4 elements, as you know, are the base in astrology. So once that you know how the energy work, you know how the zodiac work, how the planets work, and how the terrestrial things work. Before introducing what each element is, we have to have the knowledge of how those energy work. So the energy of hot is masculine and it expands, and the energy of cold is like a receptive energy. So it works like not expanding but receiving. Between the hot and the cold, then there is like the moist. We have density that becomes flexible. When we have something hot that becomes cold, it could be dry, it could be too resistant. The moist correspond to fluidity, plasticity, like smoothness, and anything that is malleable and adaptable, like soft. And when hot becomes colder, it can be dry. This is a tense interaction between hot and cold, so it creates this dryness. Let's take an example of clay. When clay becomes hotter, it becomes dry, okay? But if we add a bit of water, it becomes soft. Resuming, hot and cold qualities are linked to the kind of energy, which is the movement, expand and contract. And the dry and humid are linked to the form and the shape, like solid and smooth. So the dry, as I was mentioning before, is like the tense interaction between hot and cold elements, okay? There is resistance, friable objects, and things that are crispy. Moist, it's like the transition from hot and colder temperature. There is fluidity, plasticity, smoothness, adaptability. Okay, so now with this scheme, we know that there are energies that go up, okay, that expand. And in this case, we have fire and air are considered masculine elements. So they are dynamic, extroverted, if you want to link it to the behavior of a person. And they have a tendency to expand. Then water and earth, on the other end, are feminine elements, and they are introverted, receptive, and they have like centripetal forces, meaning that they draw things inward. Fire and earth share the quality of being hard and intense in expression. The dry, the resistance, there is a common factor, the dryness between these 2 elements, fire and earth. So they share the quality to be hard and intense, and they are not flexible, and they offer resistance. So generally, if we connect like the quality of a person, it could be like really tenacious. So fire can burn and consume what it touches. If we put something in front of the fire, it burns, okay? The fire doesn't care, it moves outwards. When it's not very aggressive, then it can create some warmth. So it depends also as this masculine energy acts, okay? Earth is stable and persistence, and provides cohesion and structure. The earth element is something that is in the base and can also create obstacles, and because it's unchangeable, like a stone. It's really difficult to change the element of earth. It's very dry. So as a resume, what is dry is not malleable. It's not easy to modify. Hello, Natalia.
Hello, I'm so sorry I joined late.
No problem. I was introducing the elements. If you want to do a short introduction of yourself as you just arrived.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt. Let me put the video. Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt, but my internet is on the outside of my place. So, but yeah. So yeah, it's good to be here. Super excited to learn from Marzia. Marzia has been a great inspiration of mine the past year and a half in terms of spirituality, astrology, and technology integrations and wisdom. She's been my mentor, my good friend, and I'm very grateful to be here today, learn from her. So yeah, I'm just open. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Natalia. I was explaining the energy of the elements and their qualities and how they work. Like resuming, fire and air are considered masculine elements, okay, as you can see, and they are dynamic, extroverted, and they move outwards. Like everything that is masculine gives the energy, and feminine energy is more introspective. It goes inwards. They share like the duality of being hard and intense in expression, okay, and they are persistent. Earth has gives cohesion, gives structure, and fire burns and consumes what it touches. Water and air, in contrast, share the characteristics of humidity. They are moldable, soft, and unstable. So air, for example, is flexible and expands in all directions. Water and air, they are moldable, soft, and unstable, okay? Air is flexible and actively expands in all direction, okay, as I was saying, because it's masculine, and water is feminine. So adapts to the shape of the container and absorbs also influences. And then it has also a dissolving effect. This is like an order of the elements. We have earth at the beginning, which is the core, and it represents like the land in our planet, like everything that is earthy, the earth itself, the soil. Then we have water, which are the lakes, the rivers, the ocean. Then we have air, which is, of course, the air, the clouds, the sky, and then fire. Okay, fire, it's like thunders, the celestial events that happen in this atmosphere. So according to a Ptolemaic system, we have this kind of structure in this realm. So there are 4 levels for the elements. Earth is on the core, then we have water, air, and fire. And I want to show you some pictures of the elements. In the middle of these figures, there are the elements. So the earth, water, air, and fire. Okay, so these are beautiful illustrations of medieval period. Okay, so I have here some tools. If you don't like to look for images, just to understand if we can, if we all got the meaning of the elements and how they work, I will suggest you to use the shape generator. With this tool, we can just create shapes and choose colors. And I will suggest you to, let's try to choose some colors and create a shapes for each of the 4 elements, okay? According to what we understood, what is air, what is water, what is earth, and what is fire. I invite you to create some shapes and think about the elements, and you can do a screenshot, share the shape on this chat. And if you don't like to create shapes, you can just create color palettes. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. Okay, so it's super easy also to use this tool. Color palette for water, for example. Thank you for sharing. Nice, Natalia. Thank you so much. So I think nice that you choose an empty shape. The empty is air, right?
Yeah. And the fire is the last one, the orange. The red was the earth for me.
Is what the red?
The earth for me.
Ah, the earth. Okay. And then you have the water, yes, with dark colors. Okay. Good. So
I try not to overthink it.
for example, these could be also water, very dark colors, or air. Air could be like gray colors, like this. We can consider those like shining red, strong contrast colors for the fire, I think. And then the white and gray for the air, brown and greenish gray for the earth, and then also dark blue for the water. Okay, then we can go next. The earth element. So the nature is cold and dry. The colors are dark brown, dark yellow, and the season is autumn if we want to create something with this element. The objects could be ceramic, crystal, rocks, gemstones. So if we create an image or and wants to give a sensation of earth or solidity, we can add these kind of elements like crystal, rocks, stones. And the earth has this feminine energy that is linked to the words, as you can see them here, of stability, permanence, security, solidness, hardness, inflexibility. So the earth element acts in this way. And we can try to find images that represent this kind of energy. So some images, for example, that in my opinion are connected to the earth are these kind of pictures. It's like the really structure, colors that are dark. There is symmetry, so it's a symmetrical composition, and it creates a sense of balance and stability. So in my opinion, if you want to give like sensation of the element earth on an image, it's the symmetrical arrangement is very important, and it can create like a feeling of harmony and to be grounded. There are strong, for example, vertical and horizontal lines, and they can provide like also a stable foundation for creating this kind of sense of order. Straight edges and shapes, center composition. Also, we see this is center, so it always gives this sensation of equilibrium and stability. The earth tones also we can use. So like this, it's brown, dark colors, calm and still scenes, like where there is nobody moving, nobody crossing the street, and no objects like birds or okay, it's just stable, and it gives the sensation of calmness. This is an image that in my opinion is earthy, but also if it doesn't represent the element itself. Okay, so just to get the concept, how the earth works. Then we have another element, which is water. Water is feminine, it's cold and humid, so it's malleable. The water can be modified. The earth cannot be changed. Okay, so this is the main difference between the two elements. When we think about creating an image, we also should think, in my opinion, about fluidity, emotion, adaptability, abundance, and introspection, flow, reflection, like reflective colors, transformation, adaptability, things that are dense, objects like seashells, water fountains, cups, vases, because they collect water. We can use blue colors, like a blue color palette, because blue is dense, it's not really a light color. Thank you for the color palette, Fran. That's beautiful. I like how you choose the colors of the water, because they are dense, and the colors of the air that are more blurry, more transparent. It gives this sensation, the color palette that you use. Yeah, exactly. And the earth remembers the colors of the rocks. As you are a painter, you observe a lot. So yes, that's true. These are colors of stone, sandy, kind of dry, no? Sands give these sensationals. Hello, Bruno. Welcome to the world.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry for my late. I finished a meeting now too.
Okay. So you're
But
welcome
I'm happy to
the
join.
workshop of the elements. So we already went into the concept of the elements, how the elements work, what are the kind of energy that they transmit. So now at the moment we are in a more, in a level a bit more in depth, how we can transform this energy visually. We were at the water element, how we can represent this in images. So the water has the idea, gives the idea of fluidity, adaptability, because the water can go everywhere, and it also has, like, it's dense. Okay, once there are no empty spaces in the water. Okay, it's like unity, and it gets the shape of every object we can put the water into. So a vase, a specific shape, we put the water, so it's very flexible and extremely adaptable. So when we think about images, we can think about those concepts and find and use materials, as we can use subjects that gives the idea of reflection or of transformation and something adaptable. So I choose an image. I could choose a lot of images, but I choose this one because of the reflection and the curvy lines, and something that is not very definite, and then there are some drops of water. So I put the element itself. It's important to use, in my opinion, like blue color palette or reflections. So to incorporate in an image reflected surfaces is like what happens in our body when it's in the water or in front of the water. We have kind of mirrors. So there is like this undefinition, something that it's like an illusion of water. Also gives the sense of tranquility and calmness, even if it moves, but it's like a soft and very smooth movement. Then we can use also kind of ripple effects. There is this sensation also of transparency and layers. We can have, if we want to create an image with that gives the sensation of water. And of course, subject like seashells and crabs or animals, fishes, anything that is related to the water. Then we can pass to the element of air. How the element of air moves. So it expands because it's hot and humid, as we said before, and the colors are light, white, gray, light blue, something that reminds the air. It could be something like with a negative space, like with a sensation of emptiness that gives like this sense of openness and space. This idea of something light and airy feeling, like that gives the feeling of air. Soft and pastel colors, so meaning blurry surfaces, light colors palette, like to create like this kind of gentle and ethereal atmosphere in the image, like soft and diffuse lighting, for example, to create bright and airy look in the image, and avoid strong shadows and heavy contrast, because like these strong shadows are more for the fire element that we're going to use. And also include like floating elements in the images, such balloons, feathers, like bubbles, and this can help us to have like a weightless kind of image. Fabrics, for example, we can use diaphanous fabrics to also to create, it gives the idea of lightness. We can incorporate, of course, clouds and sky and things that move, like that give the idea of a light movement, like flowing water, blowing hair, or give like a sense of dynamism with lightness. Also, using a minimalist composition can help to create this sensation of lightness and air. Then we have the last one, fire. How we can give the sensation of fire in an image. So, of course, vibrant color palette, bold colors with the high saturation to make the colors pop, like with a visual impact. And also to combine complementary colors, like opposite colors in the color wheel, and to create like strong contrast, yellows and purples and pinks. Okay, it can create this kind of very saturated color, can create this kind of contrast. We can also use what is called selective editing. So we focus on one image, on one part of the image, and then we create like a blur effect in the rest. So this can help to define the subject, and in my opinion, it can be considered like fire image, because it's like straight to the point. It's something that helps your eye to be focused, and it's like directs you. It's active, directs you to visualize something. So what I would like to suggest now, we can create an image using a tool between the one that I have here. So if you don't want to create and you would like just to choose, you can choose between these images. So we can use this link and choose an image for each element, one that represents the air, the water, the earth, and the fire. And then if we want, we can generate also one, like putting the keywords that I was explaining before for the elements. So also Canva is a tool to generate images. Okay, so you need to write here, like, for example, strong contrast color palette with Okay, perfect. Thank you, Bruno, for sharing. So I would like you to add the element that you are connected, that you refer to with fire subject, for example. Okay. And then Canva creates some images. So I think this is a easy tool to use. And here I would like to share some artwork in the meanwhile that can be an inspiration for you. As we can see, it has these shapes that remind fire. For example, the movement is outwards. There are straight lines. The colors are red and orange, and then there are the other two that they can be either water and air. Like the sensation is smoky that goes up, but the colors are very dark, and the other one it's air, in my opinion, like it's wavy and it expands. So this could be an inspiration for your images. Also, this is fire. So the sensation of light. We notice immediately in the first one on the left that there is like this contrast, vivid contrast of reds and blacks. And then on the right side, we have also another kind of fire. It's a fire that is not a contrast, but it's more brightness and gold colors, colors of richness, vivid colors of vitality. Then here we have another inspiration, Magritte, which includes two elements, the air and stones, bubbles, as you can see, that can remember the element of air, and also lakes, reflections, as this image represents the water. So there are these flowing lines, curvy lines, and the dark and colors that remember the water. This is nice because on the left side is actually fabric, is not painting. So we can actually generate also the sensation of water using only movement, the curvy lines. And on the right side here we have an image that even if represents like earth, let's say something very earthy lands, the sensation is so, it's reminds me like air because it's very blurry. And this is also another image very known of Van Gogh, and this sensation of movement creates the air sensation. Okay, Natalia, so I'm checking the chat right now. Thank you, Bruno, for sharing the image. We have also another generator of, which is this Trianglify. If you want to generate shapes with it's very easy, you see, but you can play with it, generate something. Okay, so Natalia is going to check her computer archive and share with us some images. So we have a new member for the workshop.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Now it's a while that we are sharing this this knowledge in the workshop. So I was explaining a bit the elements, their energy, the how we can represent the energy in colors and shapes. And at the moment, I just ended this, like a resume with some examples. Okay, so
Yeah, I see it all. And I screen recorded and just in case that I wanted to upload it on the social media. Is that okay?
Yes, I'm also recording now. So I
Okay.
will, yeah, because it's long conversation. I think I'm recording and then I will cut the most important,
Yeah, sure.
just to make it shorter.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah, please continue.
I'm also recording, but just to resume, because at the moment, the participant, I invite them to create it, to generate an image according to the elements. Okay, nice. So I don't know if you can check out the chat. We're sharing images there.
Yeah, my phone recently just died because my battery is so low.
Mhm.
But I can see the previous images that they shared. But it would be great if you guys share at the group on the Telegram so we all
Okay,
could see it.
okay,
Yeah. All of the art that shared today will be put it out on our social media, in Adau's social media.
okay, okay. Thank you. So now the participants know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all.
Okay, so I don't know, Cecile, if you want also to participate, like I share some links if you want to create like a color palette or a shape that can remind you of an element, how you can express the qualities of this specific element. So I'm sharing also the screen right now. I think I'm sharing the screen, but can you see me, right? You can
Yeah.
see me. Okay, good. So for each element, there are some specific colors that we can use and some specific keywords that we can keep in mind when we create.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
really I'm really glad to do that, but I'm still outside because my sister had this birthday party, so I don't have my computer, but maybe tomorrow I will join you. Just like
Yes.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tomorrow is gonna be we are going to apply it to in a more complex way. We're going to make some more exercises like to see how to
Okay.
work with the zodiac sign. So today is just for the elements, is to understand the principles and
Okay, great.
pure elements, and then tomorrow we're probably going a bit deeper on that.
Okay.
If somebody wants to create more things today, more art, and share it tomorrow also, it's
Okay.
okay. So thank you here, Fran, for sharing this shape. Okay, it's here. Thank you. Nice. Okay, let me see. So water shapes. Good. So you draw it? Did you?
The one that is like water, it's drawn by my friend. Money to me is the earth, kind of something that is kind of ingrained in this earth element, somehow still. And the Vitalik Buterin is the fire, and the clothing is the air. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting to consider that we have 4 elements and there is a 5th element that is actually ether, which is the emptiness, which is the spirit, something that we cannot see, but it exists. Sometimes I think about it and I think it probably is a new element that is going to be introduced in our realm soon with this Web3 or in general internet. It's kind of something that we cannot see, right? But it exists. Thank you, Bruno, for the fire. It's actually with a lot of contrast, this image, and the subject is focused. So yes, it gives the idea of fire. And also these shapes are nice. These remind me the drawing that Natalia sent just now. So this actually, it's a book that is available online. You can download all the book, and this could be an inspiration to create lines like water and shapes that remind water, and also that have like this sensation of air. Actually, it's everything very curvy here. This is land art, and actually it's represents earth, and we can see that everything is okay. The colors, of course, are earth colors, and it's very geometric. The lines are very defined, and it's really gives this idea of stability, even if it's with curvy lines, but it's really, this gives like sense of solidity. You have any other idea would you like to share, or we can go a bit further? We saw how the elements work, okay, and we know that they exist in very proportion in this planet. Also, the zodiac sign and the planets are associated with a specific elements. So this how actually astrology works. So there is a connection between the solid things, the living beings, and everything that happens on Earth, and the zodiac sign and the planets that are in the sky. The elements, so they are like a bridge. They link the celestial events in the sky and the events that happen in our planet. Thank you, Fran, for sharing this image. You can share it also with in the Telegram group. It's fire. How did you generate that? What was the tool that you used? I'm just curious.
I try to make a magical fire in the cauldron. When you see the fire spots, you see a lot of images in the fire, like animals and mushrooms and another things like this. And I try to use a night cafe to make this image. I like this.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like, and also it has like a bit of it has also this blurry feeling of the smoke and the shadows of like
Yeah, in the
cloud.
background.
Yes, yes.
I like it.
It's
Like
nice.
it's like a fire first image.
And also the reflections that you have in the wood and in the trees. It's interesting. I believe you have 3 elements here. I think you have fire, earth, and
Earth
and
and
air.
air.
Yeah, there is no
The
water. And also, it's not very flexible. Also, it's something that gives you impact because it has these fire elements, and
it's dry. Everything's dry.
yes, exactly. A lot of, in fact, you have in front like earth and fire, and those 2 elements have in common this dryness, this something that is very stable also, I mean, for the earth, which supports the fire that goes up and expands. It's a very beautiful image. It has like we can find really a strong meaning on observing it and talking about it. Okay, especially because then you said that you have a lot of elements inside, so we can really go even a bit deeper on that.
I'm just trying. This is the best one, but I didn't like the others. So if I have one more, I will put in the chat.
I see that also Bruno shares some images. Would you like to say something, Bruno, about those images?
Most of the image, thanks, Marzia. Most of the image I make, well, I don't use the same app of you. I have tests, but I don't have credits. So the most of these images with the playground I use for generate and create. But I have used same of the prompts you tell in the workshop. So I use the color pastels, everything in the same way. So most of the idea, it's every time someone wants to share the dream. It's about dreams here every time. I mix the prompts of the colors you have tell and with the resonance of the frequency too. So the colors as a frequency. So I use the number of the frequency of the color to go most near of uh, the message I want to translate with the digital image, but with some effect directly in the visual. The colors with this frequency go give you peace, or if you have some strong emotion, example in two of the piece in the telegram, you have one you feel is a volcano. In real, it's not totally the volcano. The idea I make with this image, it's the blockchain. Everyone wants strong connecting the people. So is all the roots of the connections, and it's so intense. So it creates this red of the volcano. You feel really it's explosion, but the idea of this explosion, it's all the concentration of this frequency and brands together. It create a new energy. This is the energy you see. The energy is volatile, so it go everywhere. Still a cloud. It go connect everyone.
Okay, yes, thank you.
But I use every time original I don't know, prompt first or some things. I don't go directly with words in the digital, still write what I want to see. I use every time some pictures or some, the black and white is from the pictures I make in black and white in my journey in Lisbon. All the pastel pictures you have is from real pictures I have in my home. Next, I test to create some interaction with this new element you have speak the element of the digital. Something's empty or forget, but I want to test to connect my dreams with the dream of the AI, or I don't know what I want to tell in this case, but this is a little this. It's never something's only the computer. You have my end in
Then
all
the
this
computer.
piece. Yes.
Okay, just
Voilà.
to touch. Okay, thank
Just
you.
in case.
Mhm. Okay, then let's go back to Fran. So I see here you shared a new image with a dragon. So which has also this always this kind of blurry sensation of smoke and air and clouds at the same time, and the stability of the earth. Also here is missing water. Okay, so there's the same prompt as before. The one before is a bit more cold, and the one with the dragon is a bit more hot. It's more masculine, let's say. It has more masculine power in matter of impression and expansion. Okay, also there is this kind of dragon that looks like it's making a movement. So it's the fire is moving and the dragon is moving. So this image, even if it has the earth that is still, it has a bit of more movement sensation. So it's, I believe, if we speak about energies, I will say it's more a masculine energy, and then the previous one. We understood that the earth has this kind of structure, as we see. Okay, terrestrial sphere of the elements. So we have the Earth, and we could see already how it works. It's stable, it's grounded, so it's the core of everything. This scheme that you see here, it's a scheme from Greece, so it's very ancient, and it's like the building block of astrology, of traditional astrology. And it's really it's the logic behind the structure of the elements and how the relation between the elements, our Earth and the planets and the sky works. So we have our planet, which is Earth in the middle, as these like 4 spheres, and in the core there is the Earth. Then we have water, air, and fire. So from the heaviest element to the lightest element, okay? Feminine elements, and then the masculine elements then expands. Also, in this system that is called the Ptolemaic system, we have the planets that are in order, and the order is the speed that they have and when we see it. So everything is considered from the point of view of the Earth. I believe we should remember at that time, we didn't know that everything was going around the sun, or maybe we did, but apparently we didn't. And so we consider anyway the point of view of human being from the Earth. So we see the planets moving, and I'm going to speak like this planet moves around the Earth because it's like a geocentric point of view. It's the point of view of a person from the Earth, okay? So I see that they move with this speed. So the fastest is the Moon, Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, okay? So each planet is like in a sphere. These are called the celestial spheres, and these spheres move around the Earth, this according to this Ptolemaic system. So after the spheres of the planets, we have the stars, and then the primum mobile, which is the zodiac. So it's what moves are the planets, and according to their movement, Earth, its influence. So this is the logic that is at the core of astrology. So now we know the principles of the elements, how they work. And here there are some representation that I already show you a bit before. So it could be an inspiration if you want to create some art about it. I already represented the Ptolemaic system in my art. So if you don't know my work, let me see if I have it here. Each planet has a specific element that is linked to. So how these elements, how these are distributed in the according to the planets. For example, okay, let's see. Saturn. Saturn is linked to the element of Earth. Why? Because it's actually, how is Earth? It's cold, okay, and it's dry. And Saturn is actually the planet that is the farthest from the sun and also from the Earth. So it's really far planet, and as everything that is far, it's dry, it has no life. I have here some keywords if you want to get inspired, like it can be represented with deserts, halls, caverns, okay, cemetery, ruins, old things that are far from life. Also, his cycle, it's like almost 30 years, 28, 30 years, depending, okay? So it is very slow in movement. In the Earth, he reflects representing slow things, slow actions. And the keywords are cold, austerity, hardness, isolation, because it's far, distant, limitation. And then we have, because Saturn is the farthest, then we have Jupiter and Mars, and then we have the Sun. So Jupiter is linked to the element of air because it's between two poles, okay? It's a mediator. It's between a negative and a really cold planet and a very hot planet that is Mars, okay? So Jupiter, it has a temperature that is in between the cold and the hot. So it's humid. It's humid, it's moist, and it's actually warm. Its cycle is 12 years, and it's moderate, hot, and humid. The energy is masculine because, like air, it expands. So it's a planet. We can think about planets as they are people, okay, how they act. So Jupiter acts like an expansive way. It's like harmony because it's between two poles, like between the cold and the hot. It's a temperance, justice, moderation, balance. So that's why it has these characteristics. The colors that are linked to this planet are yellow, ivory, and then violet colors, like solemn colors, colors of novelty, light blue, rich purple, like colors that were used by the kings or noble people. And the places that we can use to represent the planet Jupiter are like organized, shining locations, courts, churches, religious places, moderate warm weather if you want to transmit the sensation of Jupiter in the weather condition. After Jupiter, there is Mars, as we could see in this scheme, okay? So Mars is very hot because it's also very close to the sun. It's linked to the element of fire. But with the extreme hot and dry, we can see that the element of fire is also present in other celestial bodies like the sun, but the sun is more warm. Mars is very strong, very hot, extreme hot and dry. In this case, the keywords for this planet are like action, audacity. It's like excessive hot, excessive expression. It's intense. It has a lot of strength, a lot of ambition. It could be also very impulsive. It's linked also the planet Mars to war, to trauma, to pain, to surgery, to something that is very intense, very strong also for the feelings. Something like sharp objects, for example, accidents, challenges, something that can create a lot of strong emotions, and it can be also very aggressive. And the colors create a lot of contrast. They are red, yellow, orange, fire colors, very shining colors also. The places in which we have Mars are places like kitchens, ovens, slaughterhouses, because of this idea of aggressive action, and chimneys, forges. If you want to represent the weather condition, it's like reddish clouds, lightnings and thunders, muggy and dry places. So places that give us this hot and feeling in which you cannot breathe. Then we have the sun. The sun is actually in the middle, as you see here, between all the planets in this hierarchy. And the sun actually, as it is in the middle, is kind of what gives brightness, what it gives light to everything. It's linked to the divine, the vision, richness, majesty. So it gives actually light to us, and it defines the rhythms and the cycles of the year, so the seasons. So reason why it has radiance, splendor. It has like this position of leadership, okay, in the sky. And it's linked to the zodiac sign of Leo, but we will see it in another time. The places that we can represent that are linked to the sun are like palaces, castles, majestic structures like big theaters, huge museums, and places that are huge and they are full of richness, and this they can give you this sensation of importance, of majesty. Then we have Venus. Venus is after the sun, okay, in matter of speed. And the speed of Venus is very similar to the speed of Mercury and the sun. It's around 1 year. So Venus is actually linked to the element of water and air. It's feminine, because it's mostly water, it's fertile, and it symbolizes love, passion, beauty, grace, pleasure, artistic inclinations, things that bring joy. Places that are linked to Venus are like gardens, water sources, wedding rooms, dance schools. So all places that give kind of pleasure, entertainment. It's really benefic planet. It's like very light, and it's linked to things that give pleasure and life. And then we have Mercury. Mercury has the characteristic of earth and fire. It's because actually it's very close to the sun. It's very dry. When we look at the Mercury actually in the sky, we can see Venus, for example. We can see Jupiter, Mars, but Mercury is really difficult to see. It's because it's actually so close to the sun that it's like a tiny dot, and we can see it at naked eye only when it goes far from the sun. So most of the time of the year, it's very close to the sun. The reason why it gets this dryness, okay? So Mercury is linked to the earth and fire. We can express Mercury with multiple colors at the same time, like very variable gradings. And at the end, the moon reflects light, okay? And the moon also, like the sun, has different kind of meanings and especially expressions. So it can be full moon, so it's even if it's linked to the water, but it's not a really feminine water, it has like a lot of light, so gets a bit of masculine characteristics when it's full. But when it's new moon that is dark, for example, it's it has really feminine energy. And I would like to invite you to find like an image with the tools I gave you before for the planets, okay? And then we can explain. Or if you already have some art, you can just bring your art in the group. So here in the Zoom group, but especially in the Telegram group, so it's going to be shared by everyone. And according to the planets, please represent, please create something or choose an image from the list from this website, pexels.com. If you don't have images, just that give you the sensation of the planet I was telling you before. So here I just put on mute for a bit, and I invite you to share images. Meanwhile, I'm going to put the screenshot in the Telegram group, so it's going to be for you and other people that wants to join, okay? Okay, so I just finished to share all the most important information that we got to generate or to create and to draw or to find online images and link them to a specific element or planet. So I see here that Bruno shared already several space images. So I'm not sure if you want to share also with us what you did. Thank you.
This is So I have used the elements you have tell, so Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. I have used two Pluton, sorry. And what I have tested to make it's to fusion, to create some fusion. So the prompt is about to create a move with the colors to make a good balance with the cosmos, universe, and he give me these last four pictures where you see the big circle with Pluton in
Yes.
it's the water. So you have I like really this for the reason it's still the heart cut in middle. The cosmos is the center. So yeah, it's the universe. And, I like it's really good. So I have used
Very
the
balanced.
yeah, really. One of them, the picture with still the infinity, still in make an infinity with the sun in middle, is with your words. So when you explained in the workshop some moment, I use all your words. I
Hey,
generate only yes. I have only
generate using the words. Okay, nice.
exactly. Is this?
Okay, it's
Yeah.
thank you, Bruno. It's nice to see that the colors are also like 4 colors, basically, like with different shades, gradation. It's like we have black, blue, yellow, and red mainly. So 2 very warm colors like yellow and red, or bright, this light, no? And then also we have this black and blue. So it's just the contraposition of feminine and masculine, as we mentioned before. And also I really like this one, the one that is like the earth in the middle with these
Yes.
lines, and I like it because it's actually very geometric.
Yes. This is with your words.
Is there anyone else that wants to share something that created a planet, or like a mix of elements? Because planets are just more elements that are a bit more variable. That is not a pure element. A planet is like a person. It has like an archetype of a person. Let's think about that. So planets are archetypes, and they move, and they have kind of a personality, a very defined personality. And I would like to share also something that it reminds a bit of the shapes that you generate, Bruno. Here, this is a video, and it's the dance of Jupiter and the Earth. So we see that actually the planets create shapes also in the sky. And the movement is so slow that we cannot really perceive it. But now, luckily, we have the technology that help us to get to this conclusion. So this is a beautiful video, and there are a lot like this. This is, for example, the dance of Jupiter around the Earth, but there is also the dance of Venus, Mercury, Mars, and they all create this kind of mandalas. Okay, so I'm going to share with you this, and then it could be an inspiration for shapes if you want to represent a planet. So beside the fact that you can use specific colors to represent specific elements, you can use shapes that have a deep meaning, because it's the rhythm of the planet around the Earth, or in cycle with other planets. Then we're gonna see in a while that there are other shapes beside this. So the dance of Venus. Here is Venus. So this is also an interesting book that you can find, and it speaks about sacred geometry, and which is the quadrivium. The link is here. I'm going to share this also in the Telegram group. Okay, in this book, we have, this is just a chapter, okay? We have a lot of information, but this is a chapter dedicated to the movement that the planets do around the sun. And here, for example, it's also the cycle between two planets, okay? So like, for example, here we have Mercury and Venus, Mercury and the Earth, Mercury and Mars. So it's really interesting to see the perfection of these shapes. So there is a lot of that we can think about, and a lot we can get inspired. And also the interesting thing is that these patterns that are generated in the sky, in the universe, then they can reflect also in these shapes. And this is a book that you can find online, is also free. And actually the shapes are very similar. I would say that are the same. The patterns are the same. They just manifest in a different way. So what is above, it manifests in some cycles that we cannot really get because we are humans. So we have maximum lifespan of 80, 90 years. So we don't see that, we have no notion, real notion of all those cycles, beautiful shapes that we have above. But we know what there is here below in this realm of the elements, and those are the shapes we see in nature. So this is a beautiful book. Going to share also with you. This is in the Internet Archive. You have a lot of information here that it's you can get inspired more for shapes and geometric patterns. Well, I would also like to say that we have these shapes of nature, and also we have the shapes of sound. And these patterns are called semantic patterns, and they are generated according to the vibration and the frequency that we have. And according to the vibration, the frequency, if we put something very light like dust or sand, in this case, it gets the shape of the vibration. So little by little it moves. So here I have also a video. Okay, there is another. I'm just going to wait, but higher is the frequency, actually more complex is the shape. So here we see, okay, so we see it's this vibration is generating shapes, and these shapes are very similar to the shapes that we have in nature, and the movement that we have of the planets in the heavens. So it's very interesting to also to consider this when we create art that is linked to this realm. My art is related to the planets. So if you want to, if you're curious to see how I interpret this for me was the moon. And I use this kind of colors to represent the colors of the moon, which are shining. Then Mercury, that, as we said, it's variable colors. I use like purple and yellow. Mercury is a planet that is very hot, can be dry, very dry, let's say. Then Venus. So it's green with passion fruit that is very sweet because it's linked to the pleasure. The sun is linked to fertility and is bright. And it has these warm colors, not too hot. In Mars, which is very hot. So it has these orange, reds, and these spiky like shapes. Jupiter, benefic, with this kind of purple gold, and it's with a feather because it's linked to the air. And Saturn. Saturn is dry, so it's decaying. There is like a dead crab, half of crab there, and really dry flowers. So that was my vision of the planets. So I shared with you already some concepts on Telegram. I hope they are gonna be inspiring for your art. If tomorrow we are gonna meet always at the same time, which is 3 p.m. here in Portugal, as 2 in UTC time. So we can share your creations if you did some new images or anything. It could be also, you can also find an object in your room and you think, okay, this will be good to bring because it's versatile. I can do anything with this. So it reminds me of like 2 planets in one object. Okay, so you can really play with that. Please find images, create images that have a meaning of anything that we say today that can remind you a planet, a specific behavior of an element, and so we can share them tomorrow. I'm gonna leave you now with those beautiful geometric shapes of our planets and how they were placed. You see the sun is on the top, and we have Venus and Mars that are opposite, Mercury and Jupiter opposite. These are also nice shapes that we can consider when we speak about the planets. Okay, so well, let's see you then tomorrow. I hope you can all join this workshop. Tomorrow we're going to speak about the zodiac signs and how the elements behave in zodiac signs, how they manifest in Aries, Taurus, Gemini. What are the elements? How those zodiac signs behave? So what happens if we have like Mars, that is a fire planet, in a specific sign like Aries, because it's fire, and fire, how they may behave? It's really easy to imagine. When we know the roots, that are the roots, the elements, the behavior of the elements, then it's really easy to mix and to find a combination between the planet and the element and the zodiac sign. So it's gonna be, astrology is gonna be easier once you have these concepts. Okay, so thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you all tomorrow, and that we can continue and bring your piece of art, or more than one. Okay, so because we are curious to share. If during the night you want to share on the Telegram group or later on, feel free and we can speak about it tomorrow. Okay, Thank you all. Ciao. We can start then with a small resume. We were speaking about the 4 elements of matter because in ancient times, especially in Greece, they were considered like the basic structure of this realm. Okay, they're still now, in a way. We can consider this planet, the planet Earth, as built on main 4 elements, which are earth, water, air, and fire. And this is actually the order in which they are in this realm. So just to explain, the earth is the core. Okay, it's everything that is soil, sand, and then above it there is the sea, the lakes, the waters, and then up there is air, the clouds, and then there is the fire. Fire like thunders, falling stars, and flashes, all the meteorologic events, meteo that is happening in this circle. Then above these small spheres, there is like the cosmos, okay, what it was known as the cosmos. So the moon, there is like the moon moving, and then Venus, etc. Then we're going to speak about them later. So this is to organize the idea of the elements, from the heaviest to the lightest. Okay, then we just gave a symbol, which is the alchemic symbol of the elements. So fire is a triangle with a point up, water as the point down, air the point up with a line, and the earth the point down with a line. So everything that is pointing up, it's masculine, and it has an energy that goes outside, it expands. So that's the masculine energy. It's active, it creates, it gives. And then we have the feminine energy that it goes inwards. It's more static, it's more stable, okay, in water and earth. So we discuss about these characteristics of the masculine and the feminine. So here there are some keywords, and these might be important if you want later on to create some piece of art, like, okay, I want to create something with a really feminine energy. So just keep in mind that there are some keywords that connect to the feminine concept. And feminine is not necessarily something light. The feminine is generally connected with something dark, because it's something like hidden, like emotions that you cannot see them too much. But a masculine energy is something that express, that is direct, it gives. Okay, so these 2 concepts are really fundamental to understand how the elements work. Okay, so there are elements that receive and that are stable, and elements that give. Then we did some exercises how to create like a color palette for a masculine energy, how to create a color palette for a feminine energy. So as soon as we understand these 2 main qualities, the feminine and the masculine, then we give a correspondence to the qualities, to the 2 main qualities of the elements. Hot, there are elements that are hot and elements that are cold. So the hot elements have a masculine energy that, as I said before, it expands, and the cold elements have a feminine energy that it receives. So between the 2, there are some gradings, okay? It's not that something is always black and always white, but they can vary in gradation. So that's the 4 qualities of matter. Okay, so between the hot and the cold, we have moist and dry. The masculine energy, it's assertive, progressive, and active. It's like the fire. So fire and air are considered masculine elements. They have in common these expansions, and they are dynamic. We can translate them in people or things in nature or in anything that moves, like air. Let's think about the element, the pure element, air. It goes up and it goes everywhere. They are extroverted, they act, they share. The water and the earth on the other side, they are feminine elements, introverted, receptive, and they are like centripetal forces, okay? Meaning that they draw things inwards. When the masculine, they do this movement. So if we want to, in shapes, for example, to translate the movement of a masculine energy, it's a movement that does like this. It goes outside. Feminine energy, it goes like this, inward. Air is between humidity and hot, okay? And fire, it's hot that is dry. It's something that is really difficult to modify. Okay, fire and earth, in fact, they share the quality of being hard and intense in expression. So earth is really dense. They are not flexible and they are resistant. This is the dry quality. So the fire can be burning, consuming, and also radiates warm. Okay, so it's not necessarily a negative characteristic. We have to see the things objectively. The fire burns and it consumes and is resistant. Earth is similar in the fact that it's resistant, but it is also stable. It doesn't move like the fire. The earth element can create obstacles, can create difficulties because it doesn't move. Okay, it's like an energy that it doesn't change. If you want to translate to people, for example, a fire person is very good when we are in danger because it has a really active energy that moves fast, but it's something not good when we are in a meeting or we want to just be quiet because it's an energy that is difficult to control. Regarding the earth, it's like an energy that, on the other hand, if we are quiet in a place and you want to organize things, is very stable and can hold the space. But meanwhile, if we are in a situation in which we need to act and to create, earth generally doesn't move too much. Okay, so there are not necessarily people, but we, in this workshop, I would like that we try to translate these kind of qualities into shapes, into forms, into colors, and into art. So first of all, we need to understand how they work. Let's just say the other two elements and then we go further. The water and the air, they share the characteristic of humidity. So what is humidity? It's something that is very malleable. They have the characteristic of something that is fluid, that it's adaptable, something that has the element air and the water, but in a feminine way. It's flexible. It's something, it's an object or plant or a person that adapts. They are moldable, soft, and also on the other side, they can be a bit unstable. We cannot really rely on this kind of quality. Air is flexible and active because it's masculine, and it expands in all directions due to this masculine nature. Water, as it is feminine, adapts to the shape of a vase, for example, of a container, and it can absorb influences. Okay, it has a dissolving effect. Okay, yesterday we did some examples. So if we want to translate the earth element in image, it has to be something solid. So it's a square. Okay, it's something fixed, and it's better to use like straight lines. Okay, symmetry. For the water, I choose this image, but it's plenty of images you can choose, okay, because of the kind of color palette I like and the drops of water. So the air element, it has this shape, and it can be associated to anything that flies, like feathers or bubbles. at the end we have fire. Fire doesn't really mean something red or yellow or orange, but it could be also something with a huge contrast, something that really pops up, and then you cannot really, it's fire, so it's really aggressive. You cannot modify the fire like water or air, so it has to be a really strong contrast like this one. You just your eye stops there, so you cannot really control. Okay, so then we check some examples of the elements in art. And then we spoke a bit about the planets and the connection that the planets have to the elements, okay? They are also in a specific order, from the slowest on the top, Saturn, to the fastest, which is the moon. So we have Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and then in the middle of everything, like that radiates its energy, there is the sun, and then Venus, Mercury, and the moon. So we have just the planets divided in two main groups, above the sun and below the sun. Above the sun, they are slow. Their influence is very slow in comparison with the others. The others have a cycle of more or less 1 year. I'm speaking about the sun, Venus, and Mercury, and the moon has a cycle of 27, 28 days. So they move in these like circles that you see, and they influence, each planet is connected to a specific element. So according how they move, they change things on Earth, because the Earth is made of 4 basic elements. So this is the principle of astrology. Once you know how the things on Earth behave according to the element they are connected, and then you know the planets and the element that they are linked to, then you can understand when Jupiter moves in a specific direction, then what it influences on the planet Earth. So these are the basics of astrology. Yesterday we did the planets, and we can start from there, because I was inviting the participants to create some images or to show some art that remind the planets that have their characteristic, like Saturn, for example, is linked to the Earth. So I don't know if any one of you had the possibility to create some art. If not, we can just enjoy and find some images. Here in Pexel, you can put some words and then find images related to those words. Okay, so if you don't want to use a tool, if not, you can just use DALL-E. I'm going to share it also in the Zoom. Even if not all of you have enough credits, but I'm going to share these. If not, Canva. Canva is, here I was. Canva is nice. You can choose, you can generate some art if you want to go there. Here is Saturn, for example. We can start from being creative and find an image or generate an image that reminds Saturn. So Saturn is actually very slow. Okay, so if we want to represent Saturn in movement, it's something very solid, because it doesn't move fast. It has a cycle of 29 years. And it's actually very far from the sun. So it's also a cold planet. That's why it's connected to the element Earth. Then it can be represented with colors like dark colors, black, brown, and the weather is like something not very pleasant. So dark clouds, windy, it's cold weather, gray sky, and almost dark. And then we have like a Saturn environment if we want to create something visual. If not, we can just looking for, like I do, I create art using flowers. I mainly use the color palette. So if you're looking for a color palette to translate the Saturn feeling, something heavy, then I would suggest black, brown, and any color that is very dark. So in the meanwhile, you can look for images. I'm just going to show you here images I've chosen that, in my opinion, they are like linked to Saturn. Some places are like deserts, holes, caverns, so places that are dry and dark. Cemeteries, ruins. Saturn is something far. It has no life at all, Saturn, okay? So could be also coal mines, because there is this darkness and people get dirty, or dirty, bad smelling places, like something that is not pleasant. Any one of you already found an image or generated one, you can share it on Telegram. And in the meanwhile, I would like to say hello to Natalia. I don't know if you're...
So sorry, I'm
Hello.
delayed.
No problem.
So there's action here in the neighborhood.
Okay, no problem, Natalia. How are you?
Very well. Super excited for this class. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for coming also today. And well, actually, you were yesterday here, so until now we did a small resume, okay, of what we did yesterday. I don't know if you have the opportunity to today or yesterday evening to find some images or to have
I'll
some
send you.
ideas. You did in the Telegram? Good.
I will send you in a bit. Yeah, I'm just putting it together in a message.
Okay. In the group or just to me?
In the Telegram chat.
In the chat, in the common chat. Yes. So we have.
I'm just putting them together.
Okay.
Selected yesterday.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Nice. So images are coming. Good. So let's comment that. Okay. All right. So potatoes. Natalia, okay, and this...
Yeah, I'm writing down the names, but potatoes is earth.
Yes, exactly. Fantastic. Okay, would you like to, would you like to present your images and interpret them and let us know what you think about the connection?
Yeah, I'm just typing the names, or I'm just going to send you a screenshot. I don't know. Okay, so the first one is Earth. It's Jupiter. Oh, sorry, it's Earth. It's kind of thick and heavy, and the potato grows on the ground, like it's protected.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 second. God, I'm just so nervous because of this concert, this Pope on my neighbor.
Yes.
So it's just so much energy.
Yeah, well, if nobody knows here, we have the Pope in Portugal.
Yeah.
And it's crowded of people everywhere. So that's why it's so nice to be at home. But you, Natalia,
yeah, I'm still hearing it. You know what I mean? You can still hear it with me. So I'm just inviting you. Okay, so I'm just typing. Okay, so first one is Earth, then Jupiter is the somehow I feel it the bagel is the Jupiter. It's kind of heavy. It has the inside. I don't know. It has this
abundant. It feeds you, right?
Yes, it's like thick and also like I don't know, from all of these items, like I feel like it's the gluten, right? It's like it's gonna fill us in. Teach us how to fill us in, fully. And then Mars is the avocado toast.
Okay.
I think also salmon there, which I collected only vegan, but then salmon kind of got in there. So Mars is a little tricky, it has the spice in there. It has the red color of the tomato, which is like very bright red. Some cheese probably, down there. So it's just like, again, tricky and playful.
Okay, strong flavors.
Yeah, strong flavors too. And I love avocado, so Mars, this passion. Then got Mercury to the right. I was not sure. I was like not sure, but it was my first choice.
I think Mercury is like this. It could be everything. So
right, a lot. It's like a lot of different layers. It's some sweet stuff is there, but also beets. Kind of interesting combination. I wouldn't expect, but Mercury is communications, right? It's like you do, like how creative can you be to relay a message?
Okay.
The moon has this, the chickpeas.
Okay,
wet, shiny, right? And just the image of it like reflects, has this reflection thing. Yeah, it's I don't know, the moon is quite questionable in my story generally. It's a very questionable thing, you know. It's like, is it a planet?
It's well, in astrology we speak about planets, okay, but it's a luminary. We can call it a luminary, okay. I speak about planets because in a traditional astrology, it's the language is like this, and in a traditional astrology, they go around the Earth, okay. So sometimes when I speak, it could be tricky also for me. I don't take time to explain this. It's just a way to communicate fast. But yes, it's okay. It's a luminary, okay. But the important thing is that it's white, so it's rounded white, and then it has an inside. It's like a full moon, I will say. It's because moon is divided in phases, so that's why it's also variable, as you were saying. So this is probably a full moon because it's dense.
Yeah, and I love chickpeas. Chickpeas are great. So like, okay, it's a very personal choice here, you know, as art is, right? So okay, and then we got Saturn. This is this piece of, you know, I don't know, key like that. First of all, it's a piece, you know, it's like part of another thing. It's also very tricky, you know, at the same time, like teaching you. I don't know, I just felt that this is yummy, very, very yummy thing. It has a tomato and I don't know. I just feel it's very close to what, you know, Jupiter is in terms of energy, but it's
Okay,
more,
because
you know,
of the position, there is Saturn and Jupiter, so it's okay, conjunction. Let's say conjunction of the two. Okay.
you know, abstract, but that's just how it feels for me. Then it's the I forgot about the sun, so I selected the last one. But it's bright and shiny. It's only part, again, you can see, and then there's more, you know, it's very big and very, you know, shiny, very important. It's a soup, I guess, or broth. So it's like a main, you know, pre-course. It's like something that comes before the main course event. So it's like important. You're hungry usually, so you would eat it all if you like it. And then we got the, what is it? Venus. Yeah, Venus is just a dessert, you know, but it's like dessert. This is like love.
Yeah, it's sweet. Totally.
Sweet. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for, yeah, I'm happy to present. I'm happy to share.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a very complete presentation. I think you touch all the important point, and is nice the explanation you gave. It's really clear. So yeah, thank you so much, Natalia. Yeah, then let's go to Swillart. Swilla, if you want to present your really ancient, historical, powerful, decaying temple. So I think it's perfect to represent Saturn. Would you like to say something about that? If not, I think anyway the image speaks by itself.
Marzia, question, can we also select videos, like short videos?
Yeah, sure. Totally. I mean, this workshop is just to give you like input and idea how to translate the elements and the characteristic into something visual. So if you like videos, and if it's not too long, because we would like to share it. If not, you can just share just a small part, the one that you think is more important. And
like body movements can introduce this science. Imagine like body movement introduce the planet, like wow. And another thing, okay, so videos is fine, but I really feel like you're training us as AI, you know, you're training the best associations with these energies. So I think it's super important work.
Well, I wasn't expecting that, you know, but it was nice that I did a workshop last week with Carolina. I wasn't expecting that, and she was giving a lot of insights about AI. So I was thinking, okay, that's perfect, as I'm providing keywords and colors and shapes for elements. I mean, it's actually really two workshop, and I would like to thank you, Ina Dao, for doing that, for supporting us in this, and really that really matched together perfectly. So because you can just have some inputs from my workshop about these colors, shapes, forms, and then translate with the AI tool according to the Carolina vision, and she's an amazing artist. So I think is perfect. So Natalia, please share if you have any AI tool, and I know that you are in Web3.
I'm more of a, you know, my part in this is that I'm not using AI, but I am kind of living as AI. Like I'm kind of becoming this, you know, training tool myself, like like I'm training myself. So this is my philosophy. I believe that I'm already using AI. I just using the internet and like the intelligence that we're tapping into here. And I believe that we, as humanity, are going to be very careful how much creativity we would outsource to AI, because we might forget how to be creative even deeper. I do believe that what you learned in the workshop is very valuable, and I'm sure, you know, I've said I missed it. I think it's very important to know how to work with these tools to use them well to our advantage.
Yes.
Sorry, it's
no, but that's totally true. Then I'm also thinking we are feeding a lot AI. So do we know the limits? And I mean, we could talk for hours about it, but it's yeah, it's not the topic now. So yeah. Anyway, we can go further to Jupiter then. Here is Jupiter, and especially for Clara that wasn't here yesterday. Okay, it's just small explanation is connected to the element air. It's abundant, okay, because Jupiter is an location between a very cold planet, Saturn, and a very hot planet, Mars. So it's like a mediator, it's the judge, it's the equilibrium, moves very slow. It's like 12 years to complete the cycle, the visible cycle around the Earth, okay? But it's like a geocentric point of view that I'm describing, okay? It's not the point of view from the sun. We know that the all planets go around the sun, but okay, in astrology we consider the human point of view as we see them. So Jupiter takes 12 years to go to the same point. The colors, yellow, ivory, solemn colors like violet, rich purple, okay? And the plants are large, robust, is something really abundant, okay? The sensation that we have with Jupiter is something that gives abundance. It's air, and it's slow, and it's benefic because it's between two extremes, and it can equilibrate. And I choose an image, which was this, because of the purple, the abundance of lavender, okay? And there is a plant that is everywhere. It's like a smooth field, and it's the air element is very present. It could be a bit more bright, okay, because Jupiter is something like with energy. It's something that moves. This it's a bit earthy, but it could be like a Jupiter conjunct with Venus. So I think, okay. Is there anyone else that has an image to share, an opinion? If not, we can go further to Mars.
Marzia, can you go back to Saturn to compare these two images energetically? I just want to look back because I think I missed it first. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Saturn. Was just my choice, okay? But I think anything like you choose the potatoes is earthy, okay? So because you have like your portfolio was food, so it matched
Right.
very well, okay? So I just choose random ambience, and yeah, something decaying. And also I will say Swila in the Telegram group choose a really good example of Saturn, like a temple, something old, something decaying, but stable. You know, it's very old, like Saturn, because the also in the human ages we have each planet is connected to a human age. It's in the description that you have. So if you want to represent as a human person Saturn, it has to be a very old person, okay? Jupiter is more a wise person, not too old, not decaying, but around 70 years old, like between 56 as is written and 68-year-old. Okay, so there is nothing else to share, I'm just going quickly to Mars. I'm going to go quick here because we also checked them yesterday. So today is just to share images about them. And Mars is very hot. It's very close to the sun. And the light also is red, what we see in the sky. The cycle is 2 years, so it's a slow planet anyway, in comparison with most of them. And the colors are obviously red, yellow, orange. It's like a masculine planet. It's connected to the fire. It's very strong fire. It's not the fire of the sun that warms up and it changes during the year, but the fire of Mars, it's super intense and it can be very, very aggressive. Okay, so if we want to connect it to some places, it's like kitchen, ovens, blacksmiths, workshops, slaughterhouses, because it's very violent. There is like something like an aggressive action, and it might be linked also to violent deaths, you know, like something very emotionally very strong and very that imposes itself. And anything that is linked to the element fire. The weather, of course, is reddish, that there are clouds, lightning, thunders, dry places. And here I generated an image with Canva of a warrior with a fire in the background. So that's pretty obvious. It's like an archetypal figure of Mars, but I believe we can also think planets like people, archetypal people. They were gods. So each planet was represented by a god. Okay, so in ancient Greeks, with the Roman Empire, so it's actually an easy way to understand how they behave. Let's imagine that Mars, it's like a warrior, really rude and violent warrior. The sun, if you want to think about sun like a god, it's like the king. The king is generally associated with the sun. It's moderate, and also it changes along the year according to the seasons. It's the keywords that you can find here are brightness, divine, leadership, honor, integrity, richness, majesty. The colors are fire colors, but not very strong like the Mars. It's important to know that it's always connected to the metal of gold, because it's shiny and it's not very heavy. Here we have some images I choose to represent the sun, obviously Leo, and this building this welcoming red carpet.
Again, it's considered to be a planet, right? Like we're talking about it as a planet, not like
it's in astrology we call it a planet. Is a luminar, like the moon. Okay, we are in Venus now, and Venus is linked to these two elements, water and air. It's very flexible, and it's also associated with pleasures, with flowers, with everything that is like beautiful and gives entertainment, arts, everything that is good for life. Venus is like this. It's also a benefic like Jupiter. If you want to represent Venus, it's generally young lady or a young boy flourishing in his beauty. So we have places, we have like gardens, water sources, obviously, because it's connected to water, wedding rooms, okay, something that gives pleasure, and dance schools also here, speaking about entertainment, something nice and beautiful to see. In general, places of leisure and fun. Metals and minerals, copper, brass, coral, alabaster. Keywords: love, passion, beauty, grace, charm, pleasure, artistic inclinations, things that bring joy. So for instance, if you want to represent Venus, here I choose some images. It wasn't difficult. So here we have some fruit, some nice cherries, in the water and just yummy. And the beautiful tree also with these pink flowers. That's like a pleasure to see. Okay.
It's a cherry blossom tree.
Also cherry blossom. Okay, so it's too much cherry. I was thinking cherry was a bit whiter, but it's yeah, thank you. And then we have Mercury, and Mercury, okay, it's the cycle of 1 year. It's variable actually, because we have it's actually very close to the sun. So generally it is dry, it's connected with the dry quality. So earth and fire, depending the location also of the zodiac sign, then it can vary. Okay, so generally it's associated with the multiple colors, to the communication, to trade, to travel. And then the locations is very interesting, are also similar location, like they could be libraries or places to in which we get information. And that's why I choose these letters to represent Mercury, because they are colorful and they vary according to the position in the zodiac. It doesn't have like a specific meaning. It's associated to communication. Then we have the moon, and as we all know, it's connected to the element water because of the cycles of the moon. They really change the waters here in this planet. So it's associated to also to the first period of life in which we are children and we're just really malleable. It also depends on the phase of the moon. New moon, that is dark and there is no light at all. And it's more connected to the water and to the element water itself. It can have different nuances according to the phase. The moon phases, they are connected with the elements. So the beginning from the new moon to the half moon, it's something that is starting. It's something that it has like an input to start. So it's connected to the element air. It's not very strong like fire, but it's masculine. It's something that is moving forward. So the moon in this case, it's linked to the air element. Okay, and then we arrive to the first quarter. From the first quarter to the full moon, it's connected to the fire, because it's when it's getting more light, when it's more bright. So a moon in this phase, it's more masculine. Okay, it has a bit of masculine touch. And then we have the earth phase from the full moon to the last quarter. Okay, the one in gibbous phase, and it's illuminated partially, and they start to decrease. So it's not something masculine that is, and the light is expanding, but it's something feminine where the dark is arriving. Okay, that's the logic. It's gonna be more earthy because it's close to the fire and it's dry. So it has this characteristic of dryness. And then the final phase is connected to the water. Okay, the last quarter to the new moon, and is associated with the water element, what is more dense, more dark.
I have to say that this is more of a tool. Again, a moon as a tool, I see it. A moon as something that is more of like a clock that reminds the earth some certain things. I believe it more of like, again, I believe, but it's like, we don't know, it's kind of more manufactured by certain entities. It's more of like a synthetic type of or synthesized by certain beings. I do see it as more of, again, like a tool for humanity, for this particular like earth that we're in. It's a luminary, but like our own kind of like tool. Yeah. And moons of other planets as well, right? Jupiter moons, like 69. What?
I don't know about the Jupiter moons, sincerely. I know about this. But actually, I believe you can find a lot of books about it, how to use the moon phases to do things.
Yeah.
Also in medieval period especially, but also in agriculture. And now with the permaculture, you have people really that still have this tradition, or they bring back this tradition of following the moon phases to plant, to harvest, and they actually work. I mean, I asked some people that I know, and they really follow the moon phases to have better results in the agricultural field. And just a curiosity, for the new moon, it's a good time to do things that you want to hide. And the full moon is good to do things that you want to show, because of the light relation of this luminary with the planet Earth. So it's, yes, it's something functional.
Amazing. Yeah.
Okay, who is Cancer here? Francine. Okay, so you like do you feel the moon? Generally, who's Cancer or ascendant Cancer is very more sensitive to the moon phases. So is that right? Would you like to say something to us about your personal?
Yeah, I have this fluctuation, like, of the moon in my feelings.
So you see,
never of my life I see all of this, and after I see the magic in the moon, the you have some magic keywords of the moon, and I start to dig and see more and more, and I feel the moon a lot.
and so do you feel like when it changes sign, like every 2 days, or more full moon, new moon?
No, I feel a little bit the transit of the moon, like when he, like Virgo. When the moon is in Virgo, I feel like feel to organize, to clean the house, but it's not all the cycles. Is, I don't know how to say in English.
Okay, but it's nice to understand it's like a moon in Earth. So Earth is something very stable, pragmatic, as we could see, something that it doesn't move. So when you have a moon in this kind of element, then you feel more organized. So it makes totally sense.
Yeah, it's like this.
Good. So when it's in Cancer, then it's going to be so emotional and so looking for cuddles, probably, or something like that.
Yeah, and here the last moon Cancer, who I feel in me, I start to dig photos of my family, brothers, when I was. This is Cancer too.
Very linked
like
to
the memories.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. Okay. Thank you, Francine, to share your personal vision in this. It's good to know. Yeah, you're like a living example of the influence of the moon. As the moon also has these kind of phases, we know already that also the sun has them, and the sun has them in a way that they manifest in this planet like seasons. And here is like the cycle of the sun we see, and it goes around the ecliptic. Okay, so the Earth is in the middle. I'm speaking also like astrology language. Okay, so the movements are slightly different from what we understand, we learn at school, but just to get the cycles. So we have the winter solstice. Let's see it here. Okay, so it's the seasons are linked to the variations of light. So when we have the spring equinox and the autumn equinox, the light is the same in this planet. So the day is equal to the night. And in the winter solstice and the summer solstice, like we have like the biggest night for the winter solstice and the biggest day for the summer solstice. Okay, so this is actually the calendar of our planet. And for each seasons, as you can see, there are 3 zodiac signs. Okay, so in the same way that the moon changes according to the phase, also the seasons change and give particular characteristics to the zodiac signs. So here we see the seasons. So starting with spring, for the astrological calendar, everything starts in spring, and spring it's connected to the element air for the same logic that I explained before with the moon. Okay, so it's the beginning, it's masculine because it starts, but it's not something very strong like masculine energy of the fire. Okay, that is dry, it's something humid, it adapts. So it's spring with the Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. So the first part of each season, so we can see Aries, like Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. The beginning of each season is actually fast. Okay, it's connected to the elements that have the characteristic to move fast. So if you are like ascendant, or you have the sun in one of these elements, or something in the earth happens linked to this zodiac sign, generally they have really a fast attitude. Okay, because it's like a season. When it starts a season, like a season immediately from one day to the other, okay, now it's spring, like from it's super fast, in 1 week it changes. Okay, so that's the beginning of each season. Then we have the summer, is hot, that it becomes dry, it's connected to the fire. And then we have autumn, that is connected to the earth, because everything is becoming cold, it's getting dry. And from this autumn equinox to the winter solstice, then we have everything that is decaying, like the moon is the light is disappearing, and the same thing happens to the days along the year. So there is, the light is decreasing, so we have earth dry. And from the winter solstice to spring, it warms a bit up, so that's why it's moist. Okay, there is winter, it's linked to the element water, it's not dry, it's a period of rain. I'm speaking about the our hemisphere, the Western hemisphere, because astrology born here. For the other hemisphere, it's just the opposite. Thank you, Francine, for what you share. So it's a Lama symbol of, yes, in Celtic tradition, exactly. In winter, also the Saturnalia in the Roman period, in which Saturn actually it's the ruler. Then we are going to see later of the as it's very old and very far and very cold, the link to the earth. It's the ruler of Aquarius and Capricorn in winter. Okay, let's go then to the zodiac signs according to the modalities. So we have here the modalities basically are how they behave in each season. So each season is divided in 3 parts, and the modalities are these 3 parts. Okay, so the first one is the beginning, which is fast. Then the middle is the stability, where a season is actually accomplished. Okay, it's spring. Okay, it's actually spring, there is no doubt, it's in the middle of the season, and we have these 28 days of stable spring. It doesn't change the weather. It's and when we go to the at the end of the season, we have some differences. These signs are considered mutable, and they keep a bit of the next season, and then after 2-3 days, we are going back to spring, for example. So there are 2-3 days of summer, and then, okay, now we're back to spring. So in general, these zodiac signs have different kind of behaviors. So this modality is called mutable. Now that we know the elements, how they behave, masculine elements, feminine elements, so the fire and the air are go like express themselves and the other are more receptive, then we can also add this characteristic, how they do that. So in a fast way, because they are at the beginning of the season, or in a stable way, because they are in the middle of the season. This you can apply to the behavior of person. Is this person a really fast person? It takes decisions fast, or moves, does things like in a short time, or it takes a long time to do something because it's like it's connected more, it's linked more to the middle of a season. So we have the cardinal sign I was mentioning before. They are positioned at the beginning of the season, and they are the symbol of something, driving force. Okay, the beginning of a season, some agitation, movement, action, dynamism. Something also very very light, because it's something fast. It's something that doesn't take too much time. Fixed sign, they represent stability and durability and coherence. So for instance, like an example, we have here Taurus. We have Aries and Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign, is also in the middle of a season. So it's very, very stable, very, very reliable, something fixed. When we have, for example, let's say Aries, it's fire, okay? They also follow like a pattern in the elements. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, like fire from the top, on the bottom, earth, and then we have air and water. So if you remember the wheel with the circles of the order of the elements, they follow the same order in the logic of the division of the year according to the zodiac signs. Aries, that is a cardinal sign, is fire. So it's something that really acts fast, okay? Because it's the beginning of the season. It's not like the fire that we have in the summer, which is Leo, that is fixed. As you can see, it's not a stable Leo, which is like a king, it's like the symbol is the animal itself, that it's like acting slow and stable, and it has this power. Aries is something that goes fast, okay? It's always fire, but it manifests, it expresses itself in different ways. Okay, something that acts, but one acts fast. The other one, it's probably not necessary that it acts, because things around him is like, okay, you are the leader. Going for the logic of also the fire, let's include Sagittarius, which is a winter fire. It's at the beginning, okay, of winter, so it's a bit of winter, a bit of autumn, and it's a fire sign, so it changes a bit. So it's not very strong fire, something variable. I divided the wheel according to the sign, and I just personally choose some colors that I liked. So the fire sign, as we know, they have passion, they are aggressive, they have an impulse, okay? They are bright, but they also have this kind of small different layers. So Iris is not really strong red, it's more like an orange in my opinion, because it's fire, but it's the beginning of a season, which is spring, so it's not very strong. Leo is a fire, it's in the middle of the summer, and it's actually hot, and it's pure fire, let's say. It's stable. And then we have Sagittarius. It's almost winter, so it's a bit more purple. So I already say this about Taurus, and then we can have Virgo, which is at the end of the summer. So it's a earth sign. At the end of the summer, it's a bit dry, let's say, and they all have this kind of in common solidity and pragmatic action and stability. So we can go back if we want just to have some keywords to the previous screenshots I gave you and look at the keywords for the element earth. Okay, and all these three signs, they have in common those keywords. But we can just add some layers according to the season. So Virgo, it's a bit of autumn and a bit of summer, a bit more dry than the other earth. And then we have Capricorn, that is in winter. Capricorn, for example, it's connected to Saturn, so it's very far from the sun, very cold, and it's also in winter, and is the beginning of the winter season. So it's fast anyway. It's between the earth signs is the one that makes action faster. If we want to represent this, we can keep in mind that we can give visually the idea of movement. Let's try to find some images related to Aries and Taurus. Aries, it's fire, is connected to the spring, so it's not a strong fire, and it's ruled by the planet Mars. So the rulership of the planet is distributed in this way. Everything starts from the sun. So the sun goes to the fire sign, and which is Leo, because it's the one that is more the brightest of all of them. Okay, so the sun goes in the middle of the summer, and then the opposite, it has to be the farthest planet from the sun, which is Saturn, and we have it in air element here. Then we have the moon, which is also very bright. So it's in the summer season. Okay, it's the beginning of the summer season, but it's not bright like the sun. So it's the beginning, it's not stable. The moon moves very fast. And the opposite is also dark. So it's Saturn that rules the Capricorn. And with this logic, then we go further. Mercury is not slow, it's a fast planet, okay, and it's very close to the sun, and is a bit faster than the moon, okay, it's faster than the moon. Then we have Venus. In order of speed, Venus here rules Taurus and Libra, because it's after Mercury. See, here is Mercury, Venus, okay. So after Venus, we have Mars that rules Aries in this case, and Scorpio. So we need to understand it as a kind of wheel. And then Jupiter that rules Pisces and Sagittarius. Okay. So this actually is the order, the Chaldaic order that was given in Greece to the planets, and we just give more importance. We place first the sun and the moon. Okay, they don't have two rulers, just they rule not two signs, just one, and the sun and the moon. So the sun, Leo, and the moon, Cancer, in the summer, a lot of light. Think about this. It's just a logic of light. So a lot of light. Summer, we have the brightest planets, let's say luminaries. Okay, we have the luminaries there. And then further we go, then we arrive to the darkest and the slowest. So let's try to find images about Mars if you want to share. And so we have like a small break, and you can just exchange opinions. Okay, so if anyone wants to share an image or something that find interesting to connect to the zodiac sign of Aries. So it's something like here, I show you like the images that I choose. So these images are like, give a sensation of something hot, something that it really is bright, but not a lot. So it's fire, but not really a strong one. And there is also this kind of curvy lines that give the idea of movement. And especially the image on the right side. I don't know how it was done, what is exactly, but I like the shape. It's something gives to me the idea of fast movement. So like these arrows on the left side, like orange, there is this sensation of something going up, like the fire. And on the left side, I choose like this flower, which is alone, and I decided to blur. I created this with AI. I did a blur background because then I remember, okay, but it's spring, so it's like spring is connected to air, and so that's why it's not really a strong fire. And so I created this blurry background because to give the sensation that there is actually cloud, it's a cloudy background or something like this. For example, if we consider the fire, a fire that is in spring, so Aries, how is gonna be? It's gonna be not this red, but it's more like orange, like this. I like the orange for Aries. And then I will choose also like this, in my opinion, and maybe do. No. Okay, so in my opinion, this is the color palette for Aries. Okay, then we can, I can do all of them, but I would like you to participate if you want. Just check an image, do a screenshot, go online, write something and see if colors or shapes that give the idea of movement. And for example, Leo for color palette, it's in the middle of the summer. It's very sunny, very hot. So I will use like very strong red, and then some like this. In my opinion, this is Leo. And then let's go to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, it's ruled by Jupiter, and it's in winter. It's not a very strong red because it's getting colder and colder. So I will use like this kind of pink, bit more purple maybe. Yeah, I will say I will keep it anyway a bit warm. Okay, and this is Sagittarius. So this is like my color palette, for example, for fire sign. And it's important to understand the qualities. For example, for Aries are hot and dry, okay, because it's fire. It's masculine, of course, because it's fire. It's cardinal, meaning that it's the beginning of the season. And the ruler is Mars. So we have a lot of fire, okay? And the keywords in this case that are linked to the modality, okay, meaning the season, and the temperature of the element, it's speed, energy, dynamism, confidence, courage, aggression, something that it starts at the beginning. So pioneering, somebody or something that is at the beginning, okay? Ambition, okay, someone that wants to reach the top because it's not like stable, like Leo, but it's something that is starting. The symbol, I also linked here the symbol. So if you want to represent the zodiac sign of Aries, you can also use the classic ram. And the colors are those red, yellow, orange, and white. It's interesting to understand also each zodiac sign corresponds to a body part. I'm going to share with you here these beautiful ancient medieval drawings. So they actually represent the body parts. So on the top, you see you have the beginning. It's always spring at the beginning. So you have Aries, Taurus, and you have Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. Okay, there is Libra, Scorpio, that is more like this, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Okay, so they just go in the same order, like from spring to the spring, from the spring equinox to the to Pisces. Okay, so they start from the head with Aries, and then they go to the bottom in our feet with Pisces. This is to explain that each body part corresponds to a zodiac sign. So if we want to represent also Aries with a human figure or with a part of the body of a person, we can choose the head, this part, because Taurus is more like the face, this part. Okay, Aries is more on the top. Also here, like places are sand, with sand or with ashes, and places on the top, roofs. Astrology was studied more in the Western hemisphere, so we have like an history of millennials. So it's we have a lot of people that we studied. We had a lot of stars and movement that we see in our hemisphere. So it's also books and all our historical baggage. It's more dense, and so that's why the studies are a bit more complete for the Western hemisphere. Let's go further then to the other sign. Air, it's fluid, means agility, curiosity, intelligence, okay, relationships, and sociality. Why? Because air is an element that goes around. When I'm speaking, I share my air with you. If you're in front of me, I breathe in the same air of other people. So that's communication. And in general, and the fluidity, it moves like water, and it moves up in this direction. So we have these three signs. Let's consider that Gemini is a bit, in my opinion, the lightest, because it's air in a season of spring, which is a air season, and it moves. It's very light. It's also ruled by Mercury, if you remember the graphic of before, meaning it's also Mercury. It's a fast planet, and it's so it's something like it could be described like a versatile object, because it's air. It's agile, it's dynamic, and it takes different shapes, a bit like water. It moves around. So it's something really flexible and more adaptable in comparison of air of Aquarius, which is in winter, and it's ruled by Saturn. So Aquarius, even if it's air, but it's in a water season, okay, so it's flexible, but it's in the center of the season. So it's a fixed sign, and it's ruled by Saturn, which is Earth, meaning that an Aquarius is not very flexible as a Gemini. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is connected to the element of air and element of water, and is at the beginning of a season. So it's something really fast, and something really adaptable. And it's linked to Venus, that is pleasure. So what is the kind of conversation that you can have with a Libra? You can speak about light things, okay? With a Gemini, it's more tricky. It's more challenging, maybe more clever, but it's anyway a bit superficial. Could be like everything in air is a bit superficial. With Libra, you speak about pleasure. And in the same way, you can convert into shapes, into forms. We have last the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So Cancer is a beginning of a season, which is the summer season, and means that it's also moving fast. So it's a fast water, but it's in a season that is fire. So it could be emotional, but with very also very fast, so change emotion very quickly. If we speak about a surface, like a water surface, that is Cancer, it changes the reflections very rapidly. It's probably with a lot of drops, with a lot of small movements, and it's not like the water that we see in Scorpio. Scorpio, if we think about the element itself, it's like stable because it's in the middle of a season. It's in the middle of autumn, and autumn is linked to the earth element. So it's earth with water. And Scorpio is ruled by Mars. So it's a bit of, I wouldn't say violence, but it's like energy, okay? Just a bit, but it's hidden from this huge water in this background of earth. So it's like a bit muddy, something spiky, covered with a bit of mud, let's say. If we want to imagine it like in a background, in a situation. If we want to describe it as a person, Scorpio, in my opinion, is like a ninja, and it's stable, moves firmly, but at the same time, you don't perceive it. It's just because it's water. It's really discreet. It's really reserved. It doesn't express. But once in a while, it has this bit of fire that is given by the ruler. So it calculates the movements. It's you don't perceive it, and then it acts very fast, okay, like Mars. So in my opinion, Scorpio in a person, if you want like an archetype of a person. And then we have Pisces, which is at the end of a season of water, and it's almost spring, so the colors are slightly bit warmer, and it can be, a bit of spring, a bit of winter, can modify itself. So it's water in a season of water, which is very flexible, it's mutable. So actually Pisces changes a lot, okay? Something that is Pisces is something very variable because it is water in water and at the end of a season. So if we understand this logic, then the position of the seasons and how the zodiac works according to the position, then we understand astrology without really remembering the keywords by heart. We just understand the placement of the zodiac sign during the year, and we know that the element is connected to that specific part of the year. We already know how to interpret them. Then we know the element connected to the seasons. We know the element connected to the zodiac sign. We know the planet that rules the zodiac sign and the element connected to the planet. We don't really need to know by heart the characteristics of each zodiac sign. We just know the logic that, okay, here there is a lot of fire, so this might manifest in this way. Oh, here there is water, but there is also some air, so it's very flexible. And with this logic, we can understand how the zodiac sign work, and the combination also between a zodiac sign and a planet. So let's imagine that we have a moon in Pisces. So moon is linked to the water. We have Pisces that it's in a winter season, I was saying before, so it's water again. And then you have the moon, there is something very emotional. The emotions are very unstable and something that changes very rapidly and something that we cannot really grasp. So let's try to translate this in an image. What is something that is water that it changes fast? Okay, it could be in different shapes, in different vases. Okay, we can be creative and think, okay, so as is a sign that is mutable, then I can have, for example, I want to represent the moon in Pisces. Okay, so in my image, in my picture, there will be a collection of different vases with the water inside, and the vases have different colors, so we can keep in mind the color of the water and the color of Jupiter, which is the ruler of Pisces, and like purple, blue, like a bit of gold if you want, because it's like a noble. Okay, something very precious, very rich, very abundant, so we can put a lot of water, like we can make them or an image with a lot of vases, a lot of water in the vases. Okay, so we can, for example, represent a moon in Pisces in this way. Let's try to do this game then for the zodiac sign. If there is anyone that wants to participate, we have, for example, Taurus. Taurus, it's cold and dry, okay, because it's earth, but it's fixed. So I was telling at the beginning, like an example, the Taurus, it's really stable. It's feminine. It's also fertile, I would say, the Taurus, even if earth is considered like a dry element, because it's in a spring season. So it's in a season with air. So it has a bit of humidity. And the keywords are, in this case, determination, loyalty, calm. So like a peaceful landscape of grass. It's like Taurus visually. And they represent laziness, comfort, security, stability, concrete actions, responsibility. The symbol, as you know, it's the bull. And the colors are green, brown, and pink also. Pink because it's ruled by Venus, and Venus is connected to these light colors, and the body part is the throat. So let's see the images I choose for Taurus. So this is a land, air on the background, the pink you see here. It's it reminds me of like spring with the ruling planet is Venus, so it's very soft and feminine, and but anyway, there is stability and pragmatism, because a really like centered figure, like in the perspective, is earthy, and this earth landscape, it's also linked to the element itself. So I believe this is a good representation of Taurus. And then on the left side we have like simply wood with some strings, which is very linked to the element earth, like in the material itself. Anyway, it's brown, but it's not really a strong brown, a strong earth dark color, like an earth in element in winter. It's something more bright, like in spring, which is linked to the earth. So that's why there is a bit of white on the left side in the corner. Then we have Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, okay, and it is linked to it's the end of spring, that is, it is an air season, so it's hot and moist. It is masculine, so it transmits something. It it acts. It's mutable because it has a bit of summer, a bit of spring, okay, as we were saying before. The ruler is Mercury, which is also mutable. So we have air mainly in Gemini, the way that manifests, and I would say colorful, because it's like the ruler is Mercury, and is also connected to the communication, intelligence, something versatile, the capacity to change rapidly. And so the symbol is twins, so you can also represent it using the classic symbol of twins. And the colors, as I was mentioning before, are really different: yellow, green, white, shade of blue and gray, purple. The body part are the arms, and the hands and the shoulders. And it's interesting to know that as they are two twins, we also have two arms. It's a mutable sign. So I will suggest you, if you wish to represent somehow also Gemini, or like all the mutable signs, try to use like this symmetry of two things, okay? Because it can remind this concept of mutability. And the places are mountains and high places because of air that goes up. So it's the mountains in general are linked to the air, to clean air. And here I choose these two images to represent Gemini because of the colors, simply, as simple as that. And on the right side, there are a lot of different drops of color, but with this blurry feeling that reminds the wind of the air element. And also this image reminds to me the air element and the variability, and it has also here a lot of colors. So I'm just speaking a lot. I don't know if you feel to share something, and if you have any piece of art that you've created in these days, you can just share it, that you think, okay, I created this and remembers me this this element. Just for this, I mean, it's really difficult to create an image that represents fully, purely, for example, the Cancer. But if you have some, like, okay, this has a lot of water that is moving, okay, so it reminds me Cancer. So if you have any image, any idea, any art piece that you have in mind, you can just look in the internet and share it in the group. It's nice to have this kind of input. Then we have Cancer. The quality of Cancer are cold and moist. Yes, because it's water, it's humid, it's feminine, it's cardinal, it's the beginning of its season, and it's ruled by the moon. So it's a lot of water, but it also has a lot of light, because it's the beginning of the summer, and the moon is also a luminary. The symbol is the crab. The body part of the Cancer is the breast, stomach and ribs, okay? The colors are white, gray, and light blue, that are also colors linked to the water and linked to the moon, okay? So the places are sea, oceans, rivers, lakes, water tanks, everything that reminds us the water and the element of water, of course. And then here is what I choose to represent Cancer. Obviously, drops of water, but in a white background, because it's ruled by the moon. So drops, they're not going to be there for a long time, for instance. So that's why it's a cardinal sign. It's the beginning of the season. So it's something that fast got there and then fast is gonna disappear. And here also other images that I choose for Cancer, because of on the left side we have like this beach, it's with these waves, and then on the right side this beach with the bright colors. Yes, also pearls, like this image remind you pearls. Okay, I'm talking to Franciane. Right, yes, totally. And also pearls, I didn't think about it, but if I could find any pearl online, any image with this, it would remind the the Cancer also, because they are linked to the element of water. So it will be a good also a good example. And but let's think if pearls are very solid. So I would say that it's Cancer with a Saturn. Saturn in Cancer might be a pearl. So we can also try to think about the combination of the planet in a specific zodiac sign and try to transform it in image. It's a funny game. Then we have Leo, which is summer. It's the middle of the summer. It's hot and dry. So it's easy to speak about Leo, actually, because the sun is the planet connected to Leo, is the ruler. And it's like the stable summer, stable fire. The colors are red, yellow. There are, I mean, the what I use to get information about the colors and stuff is a William Lilly book. It's a very old ancient book from medieval period, and in which they have like all the references for these kind of things, so the body parts, etc. And there is also green connected to Leo, so that's why I put it here. Mainly it's sun colors, mainly anyway. The body part is the heart, it's the center, like in the season of summer, it's in the center, is in the core. So the back also, it's stable, it's the spine, it's the body part that keeps us our structure. The places can be forests. It could be also places with rocks that are accessible only by wild animals. Powerful places like castles, palaces, fortresses, areas anyway that has something to do with fires, but it's a warm fire. So it's fireplaces, okay, chimneys, the fire that warms up. So the images I choose for Leo are these, like center images, because it's fixed. So they give the idea of stability, and it's okay. On the right side, it's like very red, and it's there's also a bit of air, it goes up like the fire, so that's why I choose those kind of trees. And then on the left side we have a flower with a different kind of this color palette that in my opinion is for the Leo, hot warm colors, shining colors that expand. Let's get pragmatic then and go to Virgo. So Virgo, it's linked to the element earth. It's cold and dry. It's feminine, as we already know, because it's earth, and it's mutable because it's at the end of the season of summer. And the ruler is Mercury, and it gives a bit of more flexibility in a way between as an earth sign. Probably Virgo is one of the most flexible, practical, like all the earth sign, hardworking, analytical. There is a commitment, and when there is Virgo, it's responsible, like the earth in general behaves. And Mercury gives the characteristic of logic, okay, of attention to details, because Mercury has a lot of colors. Mercury moves fast in comparison with the other planets, so it's something that can vary frequently, okay, but anyway, keeping the focus and being pragmatic. So it's a link to the to logic and to details in general, to something with a lot of details. And the symbol is the Virgin. The Virgin, why? Because it's the period of the year in which we collect food, wheat or corn. So it's the Virgin, and if we look at the image of the Virgin as in the hand, like the wheat, some grains. The colors are green, brown, and yellow. The places, as I was mentioning before, are like places with cornfields, piles of straw, rooms dedicated to the storage, room also with books and libraries because of the planet Mercury, okay, that gives like communication and knowledge. So this is the images that I choose. Very obvious, okay, because it's like brown and this feeling of earth. And then you have on the right side like a library with a lot of details. It's very mercurial. And on the left side, we have this wheat. We arrived to the end of the summer, and we have a beautiful equinox. And we are going to start to the autumn season, which linked, everything is decaying, everything is getting dry, and is linked to the element of earth. So we have Libra, first sign, moves fast because it's at the beginning of autumn. So suddenly we have autumn, and from one week to the other, and it's the element connected to Libra, it's hot and moist, so it's air, it's masculine energy, and it's cardinal because of course it's the beginning of the season. It's ruled by Venus, so it has this side of pleasure and fun, harmony, equilibrium, charm. It is dynamic because of the air element, and also like social interactions because it's air. And anyway, it has this luxury and beauty mood. Okay, so how we can translate these kind of feelings in images. So places connected to mountains, hills, places where we have clean air, okay? Also windmills, folkloric areas, because Libra is linked to pleasure in general and to things that are luxury, like attics, and all rooms in the last floors where there is this empty space or empty view and airy feeling. So the images I've chosen, it's like this flower on the left, because it looks like it's suspended in air, but it has these really soft colors, and it's flowers, so it's air, in my opinion, with some pleasure in the middle. And also on the right side, we have some textiles with curvy lines that have the idea of movement, like air does, and that moves around. Also Virgo is little details, of course, Francine, thank you. So yes, it can be the transition, okay? This image can be really the equinox image. So when it's Virgo and getting to Libra, and which is still some characteristics of Virgo. And then we have also this that's I like because of the airy feeling and the light feeling that we have with a Libra, and this blurry background that reminds air. And on the right side, you have like some accessories about luxury, and that's true. It's micro details. Also, this. It's also this. We're gonna place it in the equinox. Okay. Also, this flower. It could be a moon during the equinox, because the moon is connected to water. Or I don't know, help me out, Francine, if you want to add like a more detailed description of this flower. What could it be? Not simply Libra, but it could be like a combination of a planet in Libra, or a Mercury in Libra, for example, or whatever. If you have any idea, just share it with us. we can then go to Scorpio. Scorpio is water sign, so we are in the middle of autumn. It's already a stable season. Okay, it's fixed, and it's a feminine sign, so it's zodiac sign, so it absorbs energies and it's really discreet. And the colors generally are dark, black, dark colors in general linked to the tones of the watercolors, but deep water. And it could be a bit of brown and red because it's ruled by the planet Mars. And the keywords in this case are intensity and passion. I would say because of the Mars, so we have fire and water. So fire is passion, it's something active in general, and Mars is strong fire. In a Scorpio sign, there is like stable water. So we have this passion because it's a lot. It's like going fix, it doesn't move, it doesn't disappear, it's there. So it's this fire that stays there in water, and it's this passion in the emotion that are really stable. So we can describe the Scorpio in this way, with a lot of intensity and passion and feelings of possession. That's why sometimes people say that Scorpios are really jealous, because it's not they're jealous, it's like this emotion, they don't go away, they just stay there because this like passion is stuck in a fixed water sign. Okay, and then this can lead to destruction. And of course, if we don't use our Mars in a proper way, it can have this kind of energy. And also strength, like all the fixed signs, they are very strong signs, they are fixed, they are stubborn, I wouldn't say that they are leaders, but they can be really firm in their ideas. Okay, so this can help them out to achieve some objective, not like the cardinal signs. The cardinal signs might change idea very fast because they are at the beginning of something, they move fast. So now they put all the energy in something, and then later on they just change objective and propose. But anyway, going back to Scorpio, then the colors blue, red, black, and brown. The body part are the genitals, the rectum, the colon. So it's like they correspond to this, the part of the body after Virgo. Okay, places. Quagmire land, muddy places. That's because it's like something, it's fixed, it's water that is fixed. And ruins near the water, kitchen, laundry room, so something that is connected with fire and water. So I choose these kind of images because it's like spiky. So that's the touch of Mars and a bit of water. And it's also the cacti here, the cactus. It's actually a plant that doesn't move too much, so it's stable and fixed. And then I choose another image, which is fire, let's say, because it's bubbly. Okay, it's not perfect because it has air, etc. It doesn't really represent fully Scorpio, but what I like of this image, that it has this kind of water and hot feeling at the same time. So it's like, what does the fire in the water? It's like a boiling thing that it doesn't stop. Exactly, Francine, exactly. It's like inner fires, like volcans, but Scorpio, as their water, they can put them really discreet, so you cannot really see them sometimes, especially because it's in a feminine seasons, so they tend to behave in a way that it's difficult to perceive. They don't communicate too much. But this fountain of messy inner fires is actually happening. So yeah, now I'm speaking a bit more about people, but we can just try to translate this into images. Sagittarius, so we are at the end of autumn, and we have fire, so it's hot and dry, it's masculine, it's mutable sign because it's at the end of autumn and is almost winter, and it's ruled by Jupiter. As Jupiter is considered the great benefic planet, Sagittarius, it's a fire sign, but as it is in Earth season, it's a bit more quiet than the normal fire that we know. It's active, creates, generates, it does actions, it shares. It's also ruled by Jupiter. It has this feeling of justice, expansion, but it's not imposition like in Aries or in Leo. We don't have this kind of fire that moves without caring about the others. It's more equilibrate. Okay, it expands. Jupiter is linked also to this like vision, positive vision that probably it's unreal, but people are moved by this. And also, if we want to describe places ruled by Jupiter, generally they are abundant, they are fertile, they have a lot of abundance, a lot of plants, a lot of fruits, a lot of they are rich. Okay, because Jupiter, as I was saying before, it's like the great benefic. It's a positive planet, so it gives fertility. So in this case, we have Sagittarius. The symbol is the archer. The colors are yellow, purple, red, pink. The body part going down are the hips. And the places we can describe are hills, horse stables, upper rooms near the fireplaces. So it's also like all the fire sign we can just include in an image fireplace, and we know already that's a representation of fire sign. I choose these kind of images, hot colors, but not a lot. Okay, and it's expanding like fire, and this look, it's like bubbles and lights that looks like they are moving very lightly. And also on the right side, I choose this more because of Jupiter. Okay, first of all, this is a mutable sign. It has like two parts, one of autumn and one of winter. So I choose two fruits, and fruits because it's Jupiter, which is fertile. It's a good planet. It's a benefic planet. So the picture represents something that gives us, that feeds us, that it's good for our health. And then here also two flowers, two because it's mutable sign, two sides, and also the purple colors, and with a dark background because we are in autumn, which is ruled by, which is like an earth season. Then we are in winter. We have Capricorn as the first zodiac sign. The qualities are cold and dry, it's feminine, and as it is at the beginning, it's fast. It moves very fast. We suddenly arrive to winter in the few days. So it's organized as all the earth signs. And in this case, it's also ambitious. Why? Because it's at the beginning of a season. So it wants to reach one point. Okay, so it goes further. And the symbol is the goat. Also, the symbol, if we think about the goat, it climbs. We don't know how, but she can climb on the top of something, and we cannot even see her climbing. Suddenly, we have the goat there. Or so it's like discreet, like all the earth sign doesn't need to show something. but can reach the goals because it's very ambitious. And it has discipline because it's earth sign, and it's consistent because it's heavy. Okay, so it has substance. The colors in this case are dark, brown, and black. And dark colors in general because it's earth that is already linked to the dark colors, and it's in winter, okay, which is linked to water. It's very dense, and it's important by Saturn. And Saturn is a planet that is linked to all things, to decay, to something also wise, but it's also ruins, for example. So places that we can represent if we want to manifest the Capricorn archetype are dark rooms dedicated to storage, because in winter we conserve stuff. Halls, like, because they are like dark, wild fields, because we cannot access them. So it's not something that is pro to cultivation. It's not fertile for us to feed ourselves, for instance. So and then wood storage places. So it's wood, which is it's a container, but it's full of liquids because the season, it's a water season. And then we have dry and wild plants. So the colors are always brown and dark. So in this case, we represent Saturn and the Earth in general. We have a mix of density and darkness due to also the season that is a very dark season, and this is immediately after the winter solstice. So the days are just very short. Then we have Aquarius. Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn, but the quality are a bit better, if we think about they are pro-life, okay? So because there is humidity, it's moist, okay? And it's masculine, it's fixed, and it's ruled by Saturn. The keywords in this case are fluidity, constance, perseverance, because it's fixed, individualism, because it's Saturn, okay? So Saturn is something that is linked to a person that wants to be alone, organized expression of the mind, and social behavior, because it's air. Let's see what Fran wants to say. My mom is a Capricorn mother, also mine, Fran. Okay. We have Christmas here in Brazil, but we don't have snow, and we celebrate anyway. So her tree, a dry tree, that's interesting, that's super fun. Only the thickest branches, and she put some cotton like snow and some decoration. That's fun, but it's also very, she calculates. She's really organized, like an earth sign. So it's fun. Thank you for sharing this. Yeah, this is a dry and economic tree. Exactly. Also, it's Capricorn. It's really, I wouldn't say that it's not generous, but anyway, there is no Jupiter that is ruling, so it's not abundant. It's ruled by Saturn, which is a bit more organized, like few things, and we are like in a season where we need to keep things in storage. So the logic is the same. The keywords are fluidity, because it's air sign, and the symbol is a water bearer. It's actually a water season, and the color are blue, gray, dark green, because we are in winter, and it's ruled by Saturn. But it's air, so it's gray, blue, and dark green, because there is Saturn and we are in winter. Then the places, like almost all air sign are mountains, hills, or recently excavated sites, mines for gemstones. Why? Because the ruler is Saturn, so it could be something hidden, like a mine, but gemstones, because it's like something shiny linked to the air. and attics and roofs, also because of the earth. So here I choose some images for the Aquarius. So we have on the left side like a mountain with a lot of air, but it's like grounded and stable because it's with dark colors, because it's a fixed sign and it's in winter. The colors are winter colors, and the stability is done because it's a fixed sign. And on the right side, we have more or less the same logic because the color palette is similar. And we have this bright spot in the middle, which reminds air, but this is a cave, so it's fundamentally winter, it's fundamentally dark, and Saturn is the ruler, so this planet that is far from everything and is dry. Okay, so it can be represented in this way. So finally, we have Pisces. So it's a water sign, also in a water season. It's at the end of the season, so it's really mutable. The ruler is Jupiter, and the keywords are imagination, intuition, emotion. Why? Because it's very linked to the water. It's in a water season, it's a water sign, it's mutable. So the image is something that can really do anything. It's like, or think anything, and is very imaginative. It has a lot of fluidity inside, and it's linked to emotion because of the water, idealism because of Jupiter, okay, which is the peacemaker, the judge. So it has a lot of good ideas and positive intentions. Dream, generosity, also it's linked to Jupiter, fluidity to the water. Multiple expressions of feelings, also because it's a lot of water, okay, and it goes close to spring, so it can be a bit of the two seasons. Moderation is also given by Jupiter, and adaptability. The symbol are fishes, and everything in the zodiac that has a symbol of this kind of animals, meaning animals that is difficult to grab, are also connected to people that are difficult to understand. So Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. Water, and they are really emotional because linked to the water. At the same time, they are represented by these kind of figures, and these animals, you cannot really grasp them. So it's in the same way that you cannot grasp the feeling and the personality of these kind of people. They have multiple way of behaving, and because the feelings are so hidden and they are so reserved that you cannot really get what they want. And probably they also don't. They might change also idea a lot of times, like Pisces, because it's very creative, so, and really mutable, unstable in this way, even if it has positive and good intention, because it's ruled by Jupiter. So the places in this case are, as all the water signs, are sea, oceans, rivers, lakes, but rich of fishes and birds. Why? Because there is this beautiful ruler that is Jupiter and is abundant. I found three images, most because of the colors, okay, that because of other reasons. So here, the first one, it's like very fluffy, really, it's structured, okay, but it's also, it has these colors linked to the season of winter, like the other one on the right side. It's like Jupiter, and they all have liquids. So I like this kind of feeling. And also this one, it's a bit dark, but it's water, and it has this mutable shadow, and here you can see that there is this idea of change and movement. Okay, thank you, Natalia, and Fran, for your feedback. So I'm not sure if you want to do an exercise, if you want to share any image. I would like to share with you again this and this also in the human temperament. This is, okay, choleric, fire. So each of the temperament, the behavior of the human is linked to one element, and it was represented in that figure. And okay, you can have a look then later. This is just a plus information that if you want to represent a person with this specific element linked to the figure, then you can have a look and see the description here. Okay, so here we are at the end. Okay, I really want to thank you for everything, and I'm going to share you the screen with you, the screenshot of each sign, and also some books with astrology website. Okay, I really like the there is this website, it's the alchemy website. I believe some of you would love it. It's like a small museum of images and inspirational. I don't know, if you want to get ideas about emblematic figures, you see, you have a lot here in this website. So I'm going to give you also the link. And if you want to have ideas for your art and to represent the elements, the planets, and all the meanings that you can find in them, you can just browse for hours in this website. It's amazing. And the quality of the images is not very good. You see, then you click one, you have other ones. So it's like a puzzle. And the good thing is that you have, okay, this one, no, but in some of them you have the name and the title. So you can even look in the internet for more information to put in Pinterest, and then just get a lot of other references. So this, I really recommend this website. Okay, I'm just going to share with you them immediately, and then later on I will. Oh wow, I lost those images. Let's see. Who? Wow, Natalia. Wow, now you.
Yeah, I was collecting as you were speaking. So
Oh, nice.
just following the keywords and just screenshotting some posts on social media.
Okay, nice. So just you can just speak about them, please.
Yeah, I stopped at Sagittarius, but that's when I started to really look for it. So then it goes into Capricorn if you scroll up. This one is, if the network has a center, it would be you. I was thinking it was between Capricorn and Aquarius, but it felt Capricorn because just these, even like the energy of these words and the way that they're written is more Capricorn to me. Yeah, like systems and patterns that are heavy, and yeah, just this heaviness in the Capricorn in a good way, like earthiness. And then Aquarian, you can see that there's more of like this technological layered yeah, like lots of layers, lots of
exactly. The colors are very airy, but they are stable because Saturn
and like the reformatting is like the last before the Pisces. It's like, okay, you communicate a message and then you shift and change, and it's in the Pisces, and then the Pisces, it's, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
I think I mean they are beautiful. I really love the Aquarius. I think Aquarius, because of the colors and the shapes, it's like moving, but at the same time it's stable. I think it's a perfect representation of Aquarius, especially the one with in metal. I would say this.
Well, we're in the full moon in Aquarius, so better be good catch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yes, continue.
No, that's it. Yeah, just shared some that I found quickly. It's not super well thought out.
Yeah, but
yeah.
they match very well. I will say like the last Aquarius, I will say it's a kind of a moon also in Aquarius because of the different
Yes, true,
shades.
very.
It's a bit lighter than it would be a normal Aquarius, and it's kind of liquids. This is a moon in Aquarius. In my opinion, it will be a good representation.
Yeah. Awesome. Very more specific. That's true.
Yeah, then you can play a lot with this. I mean, just for inspirational reasons, like to say, okay, let's look for like a Jupiter in Capricorn. Then there are things that are very complicated, like how do you represent Jupiter in Capricorn? But okay, just speaking randomly now. But anyway, Capricorn is super nice also because it's dark, but it has this idea of movement that is the beginning of the season. This is the idea of movement, let's say. It's more this, in my opinion. Okay, Capricorn. Okay, well, thank you so much, Natalia. You shared a lot. We can keep this group for sharing again. I mean, ideas if anybody remembers or sees something that can be inspirational, we can just put it here. And with a description, astrological description at the bottom, like the planets and or the sign, etc. It will be fun. Okay.
Yeah. Combine the planet, combine the sign and the planet like together.
Exactly. Well, this is just a bit more complex, but it's gonna be the next step. Now, I mean, it's just a matter to keep on looking to stuff and say, okay, this is very Saturnian or very Mercurial. You know, you see like a library and you say, okay, very Mercurial. But I would. But this old thing remind me Saturn. So it's really a nice exercise for the mind when we see places and also to represent them and to use the keywords that you can find describing the element and the planet to describe a picture. So, okay, is there anyone else that wants to share something? If not, we just say goodbye to each other.
Thank you so much. It was very cool. 2 days of deep dives. It's really good that you're, bringing this associative skill set for us, because I believe that if we master this side of things, then we will be more in the flow, individually and collectively, as more of us understand these concepts and connections and ideas. It's quite complex and it takes a while to kind of reiterate and read it and look at it. But I think if we take it as a practice and go day by day and get inspired, and it's amazing tools. Thank you so much. I've never been to the class like that. I've never seen people go so deep into these associations. Usually they skip it through, and don't really go as deep as you did. And I think it's super crucial to do that. Good work. Amazing.
Thank you, Natalia. So I'm going to share with all of you the last slides on the Telegram group. And I'm waiting for images and creations if you want to share. And that's it. So then this talk is going to be also resumed and put it online. I will talk to Clara and the team of Inadao for the Sister of the Earth project, and then we're going to follow up from there. Thank you so much to everyone, and goodbye, Fran. Goodbye, Clara, and hope to. Okay, let's keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marzia. It was an amazing workshop. We're very happy to have you. It was beautiful.
Thank you so much. I'm happy, enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fran. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Thanks for you too. Have a
Bye, everyone.
great evening. Ciao.